Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday. Let us know if you can hear me okay. I just want to get this mic. You guys were complaining that you couldn't see my face last week, so I'm moving the mic. Hopefully that's better. Brooksy's here. What a champ. Loud and clear. Good. Good. Brooksy's here. We should put Brooksy in. We should do all the people. Okay, so Brooksy can go there. Hey, Brooksy.
Oh yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, give it the old tap. Hey, look at that. See?
Lovely.
Beautiful. How you going, mate? You good?
No, but thanks for asking. Same old shit.
Oh,
I mean,
you're still
same
crook,
old, same old. Yeah, I mean, I've been in work all week. I'll say a bit more about that in a bit, I dare say, but... yes.
Right. I thought we'd do some sound design today. Just for...
Why not?
For shits and gigs. I don't know if I'm going to use... What we're going to probably do is we're going to use this little modular setup here, which you guys are probably sick of seeing it, but I'm not, because I like it. I don't know whether I want to use a pitchable voice, a pitchable noise, or if I just use just any type of noise. So I'm going to try Sid Guts to Luck first and see if that, because I kind of feel like that noise is a bit, hang on, it's not noise. Let's get to noise. Which one is it? Sid would be number 2, so turn that down. It's very, very like nasty sounding, isn't it? We've got an attack on it, so we can take that off. I can almost hear an oscillator in that noise. Unless I've bumped up the VCA or something. Have I done that? Have I done that? He says. Yes. That should be okay. Oh, that's what I'm doing. Silly me. Wrong knob. There it is there. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to use... That sounds like a really quite an aggressive noise. And what I want to do is, I kind of want to have a crack at doing like a whistle flute sound. And I want to get the breath sound in it. And this, I think this is kind of a pretty challenging type of patch to do. Because you're going to need a noise source. You're going to need an oscillator. And in this case, I don't really think I'll use an oscillator, although this one would be perfectly okay because it has a sine wave in it. And that would be a very easily cheatable thing to do. But I think I might use a trackable filter because I kind of feel like that'd be cool to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's challenge ourselves a bit more and have a trackable filter. And then blend that with the 2 envelopes and see if we can get a whistle sort of fluty sound. A fluty sound. Look how many people are rocking up. Coming to the party.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hiya. Hi, Darren. Hi, Andy.
Good day, Ian, Andy, Ranzee.
Darren.
Hello.
How are you, champs? You good?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
It's raining in Yorkshire.
It's raining.
I have no idea what it's doing here.
I'm going to be dripping.
Yeah,
I'm going to be dripping. It's going to be...
It's your summer, isn't it?
It's beautiful sunshine.
It's just hit summer. It's just hit summer here, yeah. Yeah. I know I can cheat. I can do that sound with a whole bunch of things, right? But that's not the point, boys. The point is sound design, right? Let's do the old way we did it, right? And because this way, when you do these things, you embark on a little journey, and in that sort of path that you're doing where you're learning how to do patches the old way, you discover other patches. Do you get it? Because if you're just going to use presets all your life, although they're cool, and you can fiddle with them, this is cool. This is also cool. Nothing wrong with presets, and you can fiddle with presets as long as you've got a synth that allows you to fiddle with them. I think that's a cool thing as well. But yeah, I think old-fashioned, old-school, analog synthesis, subtractive synthesis should get us there. And if it doesn't, hey, we tried. So we'll try that a bit later. Won't have time to do it in the next 5 minutes, that's for sure. We got Andy coming a bit later. I mean, don't forget, it's not quite even 5 a.m. for him, so we do have to. He gets up early, and he tells me that it's worth it. So I'll let him have his little pleasures in life. I don't know if I agree, but
I'd struggle to get up that early.
Yeah. I have done it a few times for some of the other shows over in the UK that stream at your sort of evening hours, and it's terrible for me. It's just really bad. I don't function well the next day. I'm terrible. Maybe when I was in my 20s I might be able to handle it, but not these days. Not when I'm over 50. Yes. So Brooksy's been busy with gigging and stuff like that, and doing videos.
Well, no, Grace. I haven't. No, I haven't been busy gigging. No, I haven't. I was asked, basically, I mean, because I said nothing at all last week, because I didn't know anything at all last week, to be honest. I really didn't. I went over to Grace's from doing this, and we did a thing for Hardware Jams. And then when was it? On Monday night, I got a message from a guy called Steve, who goes by the name Filter Sequence, in the EMOMS, the Derby area, sort of EMOMS, Derby, Stoke, and that area, saying that they were putting this thing on Friday night at the Dubrek in Derby. Would I be interested in playing half an hour? Oh, half an hour. We'll better get on with that. Yes, I'll do it. But by Wednesday, I was feeling so terrible. I couldn't even stand and look at the stuff. I thought, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So I had to contact him and say, look, I'm really sorry. As it happens, even if I'd been able to get myself, I wouldn't have been able to do it last night. I mean, I was in bed at 8:30 last night. So I just collapsed. I couldn't even watch the end of Pro Synth Network. I've got to go down, clamber into bed. So I withdrew from that. I don't like withdrawing from things. I always feel like I'm letting somebody down, but it was a last minute ask, and it was a last minute pull out, of course. So that was a bit of never mind. So I'm sorry to Steve for letting him down, but I wouldn't have been able to do it. But in the meantime, I got a message from Grace saying that she'd put the second Hardware Jams compilation volume together. She'd sort of mastered it and put it together. She'd been busy before she goes away off on tour to put out yesterday. So that went out on yesterday morning. All I had to do was click publish, and there it was. So, and a big thank you to all those people who've already downloaded, listened to, and for some of you have actually contributed and paid for it. Brilliant! Thank you very, very much to those people. Messages of thanks will be coming out imminently. I'll get my acting gear to do that. So, yeah, thank you everyone.
That's awesome. But I mean, you're crook, and if you're crook, if you're not feeling
I've
well,
been crook for a year. Ranz, that's the rubbish thing.
Yeah,
I've been on and off for a year since I had COVID this time last year. I've not been right, and it's just ongoing. I had a bad day with my asthma. They put me on steroids. That put me back to where I was. Felt great. As soon as the steroids are out of my system, I'm just back down to feeling bloody rubbish again. It's just it's getting tedious, actually. Really rubbish. Anyway, there we are. Me and my ailments.
Well, just keep
long COVID, something
pushing.
like that, but it's not the same as most
could be
people
long
seem
COVID.
to be. I don't keep getting sort of headaches and periods of lethargy, whichever you pronounce it.
Lethargy.
It's not that. It's just lethargy. It's just a long bloody cold. So, but yeah, something like that. Nobody seems to know the bloody answers, and I've been tested for all sorts of things. But
been checked for glandular fever?
No. No, I haven't been checked for glandular fever.
That one is always.
I don't want that. I don't want rickets.
But that one tends to give the same sort of symptoms as what you've got. So, Yeah, but usually that's related to you do have a fever with that though. Like generally speaking, you'll have a temperature.
I've not got high temperature.
Yeah,
I did when I had COVID.
No,
but
it's probably not that.
Not soon.
Cool. Just keep pushing the quacks. They'll find something. I don't know what they'll find, but they'll find something. Maybe they won't. But I do wish
Maybe they won't. Maybe I
to
just
get
go
better.
on like this.
We don't want to have you. We don't want to have you crook. And we do wish you're getting better. Are you still able to go to work, or are you taking some time off work?
Oh yeah, I've actually been in work every day this week, against my better judgment and against how I was feeling. I'd already been absent fairly recently because of the going onto my chest and having asthma problems. They signed me off for a week then. So, but this week's just been crackers. We've got 80 teaching staff, and on Wednesday and Thursday there were 20 staff off.
Wow.
Either off through illness or off timetable conducting exams. And that's 1/4 of the staff. It was chaos. It has a massive impact that it couldn't get enough sort of supply teachers in to cover. It was a bit. So I was crawling in, knowing that my department at the moment, the languages department, we're all doing speaking tests. Except me, I don't have a class that was doing them. So they're all doing these speaking tests. So I thought, I can't be happy. I was crawling in, feel bloody dreadful. But you do. You sometimes you just got to do that. Anyway, that was my week. That's about half the program gone now.
No, not at all. We've got time. Why don't we say hello to Darren? We haven't had Darren on for a couple of weeks. How you been, mate? You good?
Yeah, not bad. Oh, only a week, wasn't it? It's only been a week, hasn't it?
A week. Okay.
I'm sounding and by the sounds of it, feeling better than Andy is anyway. Which is always a good thing, because he sounds quite rough, Andy. I think you need to.
Well, thank you, Dan.
A long chill.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
I know what you mean.
Have some brandy or something. Yeah. Did you? I think I managed to watch something of yours over the last week, which I thought was pretty good. So, any sort of news from that side of things?
You mean the video last week? Aurora, a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a
yeah.
I forget now.
Yeah, last week. Oh, it might have been the week before, actually. I think it's been. Yeah. Even my head's gone.
Are you
now,
awake,
and
Dan?
I'm not feeling rough.
Yeah,
I am.
He hasn't been 100%. Leave him. Geez, they're rough.
It's
they,
Andy
hey?
that should be like this, not me.
Yeah.
He's the one who's feeling really rough.
Who said I'm not,
And
Darren?
I'm the one that, well, and I'm the one that's completely lost.
I think,
I don't even know what I was going to say now.
It was Aurora. Yeah, it was. Reimagining Aurora's Human. Yeah. That's it. That's the one I watched. I just had a little peek at your channel just to remind myself. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Yes. Did that 2 weeks ago, I think it is now.
Yeah, it says 12 days ago. So there you go. Yeah. Wow. Jeez, that went quick. So you're due, mate. You're due for something.
Yes. Well, I usually try and put them up. Well, it was once a week, wasn't it? But then we'd having to do my albums and stuff. It's like I just can't get them, can't create one and write it up in time. What's a dark background? I thought it looks a bit weird. Yes.
What looks weird?
Yeah. And anyone wants to know, I've put out the Spirit Guide album, which is out now. So. Check that out if you want.
Is it on your Bandcamp?
Yeah, you should have had an email or something.
I did. I got it, but I had the most insane week. I really did. And I kind of think. Let me just get you up on Bandcamp. Yeah, it was a crazy week.
It's actually. Believe it or not, it's a year, but it's not a year in the making as such. It's a year since the original came out when I first put the Spirit Guide Part 1 out. It's actually a year. And I hadn't realised, but it's not an actual year in the making. So, and there is a little bonus track on there as well, but you can't see it unless you actually,
How do I get that?
Until you open it.
Until you just download the whole album type of thing, and then you get the little bonus track.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I like that. Okay, and Ian's here. I think it's that, but I'm just double checking the titles as I'm going through as well because I had to change
Hey,
last
there we
week.
go.
Yeah, that works. Beautiful. You're right there, mate. You good?
So, yeah. So what have I been doing this week? I did an EMOM on Wednesday, which I did manage to record video and audio. So I'll put some videos out next week on that, which was great. That was the York one. They're not every month, the York ones. The next one will probably be February, March time, Simon was saying. But Dots were there, which was great. And Dave Walker was also played. It was fantastic. What else have we been doing? Put my radio show out on the 1st of December. And you're all in it. You're all on it.
To yet.
Wow. So everybody, what I did was I went back over the last 11 months from January 2022 and picked 2 or 3 tracks. So it's slightly longer than normal. It's about 2.5 hours. And you all made it. You all ended up on there. So
wow, exciting.
And it's the un-Christmas show, so it's guaranteed to have no Christmas songs.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So if you want to escape from Christmas,
that's actually a really good idea.
The YouTube version will be out
in.
The YouTube version will be probably out in about 10 days, something like that, middle of the month. And I received a message from a mate of mine who's got a small label deal. And back in the summer, he said, I need you to send me loads of your experimental stuff. So I sent him loads of stems and bits and pieces. And anyway, he's put loads of it all over his album, which was quite nice. The album won't be out till February. I don't know the title. The artist is Ryan Sherlow, and I'll be able to play some more on the January audiophile radio show. And it's sort of folk electronica experimental. Ryan plays guitars and banjos and all sorts of things, but all of the synth stuff and the instrument and all that is all me. So I was quite pleased about that, really. And he turned up last night, so I had to listen last night and I listened this morning. And I texted him and said, look, you need to tour this because it's great, and if you need help, I'm happy to, and he's going, oh no, I don't think I can do it. So we're having that conversation. So hopefully he'll do some gigs with it come the release date in February. But I was quite chuffed about that, really.
Excellent.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, that's my week.
I'm actually looking forward to hearing that because I do want to hear how you've mucked around with the Malstrom Arkan. That'd be cool. Just even that factor alone. Obviously, also be chuffed to hear some of your music too, of course. I could probably do something on the instrument at some point. I'd need to set up another audio interface to get it because I've only got 2 inputs on here. But I can probably do something of that at a future show, and sort out an extra camera. Awesome.
So leave that with me for early next year, and I'll see what I can do.
Fabulous. Well, so just a couple of little housekeeping things. I've posted in the chat of the show, you'll see it scrolling by, the StreamYard link. So if you do want to pop into StreamYard with your video and your chat and your microphone, all you have to do is click on that link and you can join. I've got another 5 spaces that you can join in, just like David did last week. So just make sure you shout out to me in the chat that you've joined because I'll need to actually add you in. But so far no one's in there yet. It's empty. It's lonely in there. And Andy will be in a sec. The other thing I keep forgetting to post each week is the link to Discord, because some people ask me, what's the Discord link? Just go to that. It is a bit.ly link, but it'll take you straight to the Discord server, and you can either use Discord in your browser or you can download the app and use it. It's free. There is no social media advertising bombardments in it, which is a good thing. So yeah, jump onto Discord. I do a fair bit in Discord during the week. And the chats have been really interesting this week. And I'm going to go, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we talked about in Discord this week, because I feel that some of the information that we chat about is actually worth talking about on the show. So if you're not on Discord, you probably should be. It's a good social media platform, I feel. Better than these other ones that bombard us with ads and algorithms that force us to watch things that we don't really want to watch. You know, I'm still scratching my head as to what the point of having a Facebook page is, where you've got thousands of people that follow you on it, but when you do a post, no one can see it. So what's the point of someone following someone?
It's absolute bonkers.
It's absolute stupidness. They obviously want money, but I mean, that aside, the whole point of it is why bother following someone if everyone knows that you're not going to get the post, right? Because Meta want your money.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
I mean, I've never understood that. I mean, I was looking, I don't look at Facebook that often, but I went in the other day and I just literally started looking at somebody's post and then it disappeared. And then I had to go and find their page to then see the post. It was just, I mean, it's
really
so
hard to find
really.
stuff that if it's scrolled past and then some reason you've closed the app and you have to go back and you've lost it. Sometimes it's disappeared forever because it's such a big, massive abyss of posts around the world. So it would be impossible. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so that's why I'm saying Discord is good, because the cool thing about Discord is I've set it up so that there are channels on my server, and if you want to chat about prices or modular or studio porn, which we'd like to put photos of our illustrious studios in, by the way, nothing else. It's all above board. We've got a spot for jams, a spot to promote your music. Everything's in there. So, I just knocked my mic. I'm not going to get used to this mic. I can't be too sort of handsy with the mic in front of me, eh? Anyway, what we probably should do is roll the stinger. There it is. Welcome to another Saturday Synth Geekery episode 187, I think we're up to, if I remember rightly. Whew, it just keeps growing. Nice to have you guys here. It's a nice, warm, humid day here where I live in Western Australia, and it's really nice wherever you are. Hopefully you're nice and snugged up in your home studio or whatever you're doing, or if you're watching us on a phone while you're on a train, maybe. Let us know in chat. Anyway, we do have chatties here, and they are pretty awesome people, and it always warms my heart to see a whole bunch of you that have been watching this show we're getting close to 4 years now. Next year we'll be celebrating our 4th birthday, so do watch out for that when we hit on the other side of the New Year's break. But yeah, let's have a quick shout out to a few of you randomly. I think Universal Vibe was first, but when I went in to say hello to him, I think he'd left. But Robbie Puricelli, I think, technically would be first. So you can wear the I'm first, thanks, Guernsey today. Hello to you anyway, Robbie. Wagoo's there. Big hello to you, Daniel. Keith in Watford. Big hello to Keith. Who else is there? Wagoo. Big hello to... I said that, sorry. Future World Machines, one of our channel members. Sorry, there's something just scrolled off my screen when I was talking, and it just kind of I lost my spot. Azio Head's there. Who else? Martin Taylor, Neil Wharton. Big hello to you guys. And then Path Lake, big hand waving to everyone. Big awesome sort of emoji hand there. Who else? I think it's gonna. Chris is there. Chris, you could join us in if you want in StreamYard. Oh, we got Henrik waiting. He didn't tell me. I should probably add him in. Henrik's in StreamYard. Let's get StreamYard happening. Cool. Right. If you do join StreamYard, I'm going to keep posting the link in. Make sure you shout out and let me know you're in there. Okay. Who else we got? Ian J. We got Andrew Brooks. They're already there. Yeah, I think most of you there. Oh, Marcus. Haven't seen Marcus for a while. Big hello to you, mate. The breathalyzer, Sean, is there. Big big hello to you. Half God, Half Beast. Yeah, Roy Strobel, Kev Human, and it just keeps scrolling. This is amazing. There's a lot of people. One day I'm not even going to be able to do this, to read this list out, and it's going to be insane. But I actually do enjoy reading it out because every single person that is part of this show, whether they're in chat, whether they're watching on the replay, or whether they've joined us here on the as video guests, or even here as StreamYard people. Look at that. We've got Henrik there. He's waiting in the StreamYard. Let me just post that link again for StreamYard. Now I can actually get him full screen. Look at that. At the press of button, he's now full screen. His microphone's muted, but that's all right. So we can bring him in whenever we want. And anyone else wants to join, make sure you let me know in chat. Beautiful. So StreamYard's happening in the background.
And the name is it's in French. It looks like
yeah. You're like floating in your studio. I can tell you that you're in your room there, but you're just kind of floating because you've got that.
But it's a mess. I've been looking for a power supply for a new synth.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are actually, I did talk about Discord before, so we are going to talk about that a bit later. So make sure you hang around because we're going to have a chat about things like that because I think it's important. So if you are in Discord land, it's worth it because you never know, we might bring it up. I didn't get to everyone in the chatties, but anyway, anyone else is in there, big hello to you. Thank you for joining. And anyone watching us on replay, also a big thank you. Now, we should get stuck into the show because we have lots to get through. And usually, we start with this thing called Funny Side. Yes, Spice Rack, Spice Girls, I don't know. Top comments to what this would actually be. Disappointment. Blasphemy. I'm not sure. I mean, look, at some stage, spicy patches. Well, it's got a lot of coffee in the bottom row there. But anyway, rabbit in a tuxedo up the top.
Yeah.
Just not sure what's going on here. But unfortunately, that Moog is probably dead. If anyone's wondering, and maybe Kent, if you're watching, mate, I don't know if you could fix that one. There's a lot of electronics missing out of the middle there. It might be a bit hard.
Maybe that's one of the ones that got churned up to be turned into the Studio Electronics MIDI Moog because they just took the stuff out, didn't they, and made a rack mount out of it. Really,
yeah.
And it looks to me that somebody's done is actually
That's
just
what's
taken
happened,
the whole synth box away, and then just decide what we're going to do with this. Well, I'll make a spice rack out of it.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, it is a rack mount synth, if you're ever wondering. Right, we should move on to the next before I absolutely kill the internet. Robbie sent this one into Discord, so I thought I would shout out to him because he likes to post memes sometimes in our Discord channel. In 2022, if you spent 51,677 minutes looking for the right snare, that's more than 92% of other producers. That's brilliant. Yeah. I just don't look for snares. I gave up.
No, I don't either.
I just make snares out of seed chips. Right, we should keep going. Elon Musk has posted on Twitter that the next thing he's buying is Korg because he wants to put more bass in. Now I put that one in just for you, Ian. I knew you'd be happy
Thank you.
with that one.
Thank you. That's I mean, the minute Elon Musk buys Korg, that's when I stop being a dealer, full stop. That's no...
I thought he already bought it. I mean, the Volca section.
Boom, boom. Very good. Right. Big shout out to Elon if you're watching. I don't think he's watching. Right.
No.
So, who inspired you to play keyboards and start making music? This was so gorgeous. This little cat with the microphone and everything. Geez, that would have been a great photo if that actually. I reckon that's probably a real photo. I reckon that's a real photo. Someone's just snapped that up.
The shadow looks right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just brilliant, isn't it? That's a great photo.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay, so magic button there. Gentlemen, including Discordies, and I'll get on to someone else has just joined us on Discord in a sec. What do you think was the best meme this week? Oh, not Discordies.
Spice Rack.
StreamYardies. Spice Rack?
Yeah.
It has to be a
Spice
Spice
Rack.
Rack.
I feel like the cat.
Yeah, the cat. Oh, a cat photo is always good, isn't it?
Do let us know in chat
Exactly.
what your favourite is. And also on StreamYard, Chris has just joined us as well. Hello,
Both the
Chris.
cat and the spice rack, because cats can climb such a thing.
They could, yeah, and get to that rabbit up top. There was a rabbit in a tuxedo.
I got a definite giggle out of the spice rack, so
Okay, yeah,
put that one in.
you had a bit of a mogul with it, did you?
I did indeed.
All right, beautiful. So we've got 2 extra people on Discord. I mean Discord. What am I saying? StreamYard. I'm going to fraudulent slips all night long. Just warning you in advance. Right.
Too
and
many
chatties.
products with too many different names.
That's it. No, just getting lost in the button pressing. I reckon the Moog one probably got it. I think we're going to go with the Moog one this week. Moog wins the spicy award, I guess. Yes. All right, beautiful. Well done, chatties. We are going to go to the next segment, which is news. Hooray! Geez, that's an old track of mine. I should change that stinger. It's really old and pretty embarrassing. Right. Speaking of news, we're going to start off with... this is not a new product, okay? So this is an old product, but it's had a firmware update, and the firmware update is the important thing here, because Insruo, we actually talked about this product last week, and lo and behold, they bring the firmware update out during the week after we talked about it. So let's watch the video.
Hello, I would like to introduce the Looper version 2.0 firmware, which has been a long time coming, as many people have let me know in the comments and over email, but trust me, it is very much worth the wait. This has been a lot of development behind the scenes on this, which we kind of took COVID as an opportunity to start from scratch, and everything's been rebuilt from the ground up in terms of looping engine. It's a new animal, so for a limited time at least, this is going to be available as an update pack. So let me see what's in the box. There's a new updated Looper V2 quick start guide. So it's got some of the details of the new looping mechanics, updated button combinations, all the fun stuff. And
Hang on. Is that a manual in a Eurorack module? hang on, wait.
Excellent.
Jason, that is brilliant.
Who would have thought it?
That is brilliant. This is,
Worth
as you guys,
500 quid for that.
as you guys can see, this is a massively long video, 2 hours and 25 minutes. There is probably a couple of minutes worth of what's new we could probably watch here.
so, what's new with the version 2.0 firmware? Quite a lot. It's been a big job, a long process, and I mean there was actually a version 2 ready at some point a while ago now. I think this will have been the first round of people hearing about a version 2 firmware. So that was essentially more features built upon the V1 engine, which it never felt quite right in terms of what we knew the hardware was going to be capable of. So we basically just took it back to the drawing board, and Cian just locked himself in a room and programmed for the last 2 years or so. But it's incredible what him and Finn and Murdo have been able to do in terms of software and capabilities on this module. So same hardware, it's very recognizable. A lot of the button combinations, the features will be familiar, but there are a few core changes that I'm going to cover first in this section before the video goes on and deep dives on the specifics of the various presets. So
I don't think he's getting to it quick enough, so I'm probably just gonna because it is going on a bit. It's about 5 minutes into the video already. I'm just going to summarize it for you guys just to make it easier for us. So basically, there is, as I said, new firmware. He did build it from the ground up. So if anyone has an Insruo Lubadh, they will probably be very impressed with the new firmware. It has 10 new factory presets, and I'll just run through what the factory presets are, because otherwise it's a 2 hour video to watch, and if you want to find out what they all do, it's probably a little bit sort of long-winded. But there's a new tape looper. Now it is the default preset, but the new tape looper offers some extra features that the old one didn't, and I'll go into that in a sec. There's a clean looper, there's a classic looper. These are all kind of based on tape sort of looping and overdubbing type theories, right? There's a clockable one. There's sequencing mono, sequencing poly, mellotron, which is kind of a play on words with a mellotron sort of thing. There's an octave delay, and there's a few more. So I think the few more is he's kept a couple of the old ones and tweaked them or something like that. If you don't know what the Lubadh is, it's basically 2 identical channels of tape-based looping, and it also allows you to instantly record and play back, and then overdub. So you can keep adding your music to whatever's actually already recorded. So overdubbing is actually kind of similar to what the RC505 and the 303 from Roland, that sort of theory. It's kind of similar to that, but in a Eurorack format. And it's actually a really, really nice looking module and quite easy to understand, which is quite rare for Eurorack as well.
It's beautiful.
It's really, really nice. Yeah. They're made in Scotland.
All Insruo stuff's really nice. Very nice.
They are a bit pricey. I think my part of the world, it's just shy of $1,000, so they're probably around about the £500 mark for you guys.
Yeah, that's
the original Lubadh is
£599.
£600.
Is it? Yeah, 489 on Elevator Sounds in Bristol.
Yeah.
So that they are very expensive, but they are lovely things, aren't they? Gosh, they do look gorgeous.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology in it. So that's what you're paying for, and plus it's a boutique company. It's not like a big Korg or a big Yamaha who have got massive products and budgets and teams that they can just absorb costs in. This is just a couple of guys, so you enter that world, but they're very, very professional what they do. Anyway, who's kind of wants to make a comment on the Lubadh?
It's just a piece of kit I'd like, but just well out of my price range at the moment.
So, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say it's just a piece of kit that I'd really like, but unfortunately, due to cost for me, it's just out of the way. But they do make really, really nice modules, and this and what is it? Blimey, my brain is completely mashed today. The loop. The Morphogen, it's on a similar sort of vein.
I was going to ask if you meant Morphogen.
Way. It in a different way, because originally I was wanted the Morphogen, but when I seen this, I was thinking I do like this, and now they've updated the firmware, and there's a lot more. Like I say, I've not watched the 2 hour video yet, so what it goes into, I do like that. I suppose I could lie. I've got a sort of Insruo module. It was the Div Kids Aux, and that's sort of made by Insruo. So in a way, I've got a little bit there, but that's all I've got in the Insruo one. But I'd love to have quite a few of their modules.
Definitely. Ian, you were going to make a comment?
No, it wasn't a comment. It was a question, really. So if you've got the first version of this module, can you, Is the firmware update only on the new version, or can it be applied to the older version?
I think it's a question.
Do we know?
Yeah, a question for me to check into. But I am under the assumption that you can upgrade the firmware on it, but I could be wrong. So I need to double check.
I would expect if they've done that much work on it over 2 years, then it should be a paid upgrade, which is fine, you know. But it was just a question. I thought it would be nice if you've already bought it for 400 quid or whatever, then, you know, to pay a bit more to have it the latest version.
Yeah, look, I can't. That doesn't sit 100% well with me either.
Right.
We talked about this with Tasty Chips actually a few months ago, where they brought a module out, and then they brought a second version out, and they basically said, well, if you want, it's a little bit different to this because there's actually a hardware upgrade between the two versions. And so if you want the new version, you can't just upload the firmware to it and you've got the new version. So, but the original version for their particular situation had some pretty bad engineering design in it. It was noisy. There was some unfinished firmware. So when they brought the new one out, basically they fixed everything. And then they said, right, if you want the new one, you've got to pay for it. So there was kind of like this, buy it brand new, or you can send your old module in and we'll upgrade the electronics in it for a price, which is obviously your postage at your cost and the upgrade price.
Yeah.
So
I would think this is just a software, a firmware update, because if they're still selling, they'll still have stock of the old one. If they're still selling them and they brought this new update, those ones that are literally going out the shop now won't have this update on, so I can't see it being. And I don't think they've messed about with the hardware in a way. I think it's completely firmware.
Yep.
But whether they're going to charge you for that, if you've had one for say a year or two, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, there's actually quite a lot of those sort of modules out there in Eurorack land. So if you do go into Modular Grid, definitely check out looping or tape looping, that sort of stuff, because I kind of think that, you know, it's probably worth, you know, like you guys mentioned already, Morphogene, and I've actually got one that is relatively inexpensive, and it's based on a digital technology, and it's called the 1-bit multi-tap delay, and it is actually 2 tape heads, and it does have a loop, and it does have a hold, and it's playable, and it's CV controllable. It's a pretty cool module. So there's a few options out there, and thanks for Wagoo for actually reminding me in the chat about that one. And I think there's some mutable modules too that kind of do similar stuff as well, right? So anyway, there it is.
You did speak about it had a manual. Well, it's not that uncommon for Eurorack to have manuals. For example, IO Instruments for their Spond included this manual. So it's quite normal to have manuals in Eurorack.
It's not
and sarcasm.
Yeah. It's not the wind and the willows, though, mate, is it?
It's not 200 pages, is it?
I'll waft that around again. That's actually a proper manual and really helps. It's really great. You know, it's 12 pages or something like that with explanations, and it just makes the thing. That's wrong way.
Mutable, yeah.
That's flats.
Mutable,
really good
manuals. Yep, they get to the point, and I mean they could go into more detail, to be honest.
Keep
but
it to hand, though.
They get to the point. They get you through what you need to know. But then again, if they didn't have a manual, we'd all be scratching our heads with those particular modules. Anyway, we shouldn't go off tangent because manuals is
a couple of funny button pushes to get to the envelope generator properly and things. But it's still there. It tells you in the manual. It's what I do have to keep looking though.
So do check out Insruo Lubadh if you. I don't even know how to pronounce that, by the way. It's Gaelic.
It's just pronounced Looper.
It's pronounced Looper, is it?
Every time he mentioned it in that video, he just says looper.
Yeah.
So it's just the Gaelic rendering of the word looper.
Right.
So
There you go. Easy.
Isn't it just how it's pronounced in Scottish?
Yeah, that's what he said.
it's Scots Gaelic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Next one. This solid state logic SSL12. It's an audio interface with 12 ins, 8 outs, including some interesting connectivity. And we'll go into the video now. This one's kind of piqued my interest for a few reasons. So let's watch the video first and we'll come back and have a chat about it. So you saw just at the end they had the SSL2 in the picture. I'll just grab that screenshot there so you guys can see it again. Where is it? There. So the SSL2 and the SSL2 Plus, I remember those being quite pricey back in the day, and I think they had, you know, these guys have got a pretty good name for themselves for making some quality gear. So they were kind of at that sort of higher end audio interface sort of market. But the cool thing about the SSL12 is actually it's pretty reasonably priced. It's only €499, which is kind of a little bit sort of what's going on, and it's a lot more featured than some of their other stuff. I did notice one thing in that video. There was something about a 3-month subscription, and I'm like, what's that for? What do I need to subscribe if I've
I seen that.
Yeah. So there's kind of a few little gotchas in there. Just to make sure you do check out that stuff first. I'm not sure what the subscription's for, by the way. So the connectivity of this thing
is it for their suite?
It might be software. It might be their software. This thing looks like it needs quite a lot of the software to get it sort of up and running, you know. And in that sort of situation, I'm not a huge fan of that sort of thing, unless the software is free. If the software is free,
I like
it comes
it to be
with
standalone, but with the software to accompany it. So you can either use it with the software or without. If you start getting linked to them having to be with the software, and especially if you end up being a subscription, then that becomes a bit.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking product though. It's got some really good bit of electronics in it. You know, in terms of mixes, I really think mixes is really a personal thing though. Everyone has a different opinion about mixes and audio interfaces.
True.
Can I tell you a little bit more about it? It's got ADAT in. That's why it pegged my interest. That's why I'm a big ADAT fan. And I think ADAT needs to be improved because it's getting old now. It's got 2 headphone inputs, which I always like. My Studio 192 from Presonus has two headphone outputs. Sorry. Did I read it was 32-bit 192K? That's pretty decent, if that's the case. And I don't really know how the 12-in works. I think that might be if you add the ADAT to the existing physical connections on it. That might give you the 12-in. It might be 8 via ADAT and then 4. Yeah, that's 12. There we go. See,
that would make sense.
I did maths when I was younger. Go in. You have a chat about it.
No, I was just going to say that does sort of make sense if it's for 4 inputs. Although isn't there 2 line inputs on the front as well?
Yeah, I think they're just the same as the ones on the back.
Oh, on the back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, the price is good for SSL because 500 quid is it's a chunk of change, but it's my preference would always be for sliders rather than rotary controllers. On a mixer.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be my only really negative point. I would much prefer, and it's built to a price. That's the thing. That's why it's got rotaries and not sliders. But no, it's okay if that sort of floats your boat. I was slightly. Am I missing something? What's the 4K buttons?
Yeah. Legacy and 4K. Not really sure.
Does video.
I didn't quite.
Let me have a quick look.
There was a 4000 series SSL. So maybe they mean, turn on 4K.
So the 4K.
Actually, Waggo's saying SSL 4K console.
Good work, Chris. It activates the 4K legacy mode for the analog style 4000 series console color.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of brand loving, for those people.
Yeah.
But for Darren, there's a massive big knob on there, mate. You might actually get quite excited about that.
Whoa! Not for me. I'm not the one with the
the purple man. The little purple man.
Did I say that? Sorry.
That's why I let him remix one of the tracks on the thingy, because he was.
Yeah.
That's the only time I get time and space.
With all these things, we kind of like to know what sort of latency does it have, connectivity, all that sort of stuff. To me, that's the proof is in the pudding. With once these get out in the wild and you see, how are they sort of comparing to the other, digital audio interfaces out there at the sort of higher end market too. I'm still a massive fan of RME, so I'm not going to sort of go anywhere. The software that they provide with their audio interfaces is free, and it's the same across most of their products. So you don't get lost with subscriptions or stupid add-ons or anything like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyone else want to make a comment on the SSL12? Nope. Cool.
Hi, Andy. Just noticed he's there.
Yeah, Andy's just turned up.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll get to you in a sec, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
No worries.
Next thing, Mega-Tang. Geez, we can get in trouble with that name. Mega-Tang from ALM Busy Circuits. Now, this is starting to get into Eurorack land again, so I do apologise for those people who don't like Eurorack. But let me play a little video. It's a couple of minutes long. We'll probably stop it halfway through. I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a sec.
The Mega-Tang is a 4-channel VCA and stereo mixer with a simple and compact layout that provides hands-on controls and affects them with stereo return and flexible individual channel outputs. Designed with live use in mind, the Mega-Tang builds on the clean and transparent sounding Tangle Quartet VCA, adding many useful features whilst remaining just as straightforward and intuitive. Each channel includes manual control over input level, panning and effects send level.
All right, he's going to take a while to get to it, and I'm just going to quickly bring you guys through it. I might just move his hand out of the way so you guys can see it. I kind of feel this module is really suited for those who have already got ALM's gear, because it kind of works well. It's like if you keep buying ALM gear, you probably want to have this module, because they brought out that new effects module. What was it called? MBF or MPF or something. Just recently, and this, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's got a mono send and a stereo return on it. So it's 4 VCAs mixing plus a send and return, and that's actually pretty cool. Let's just go back to the graphic here, because I think it's easier to see. So if I just quickly tell you guys how it works, it's actually pretty cool. So you've actually got 4 proper independent VCAs in it, but you can use them as mixers. or channels basically, and each channel has its own send, pan, level, and mute control. Those mute buttons are soft mutes, so there's actually no clicking sound when you press it. You'll see the next row from the inputs is levels, and so that's your standard CV input for a VCA. So that's where you'd put maybe an envelope in, or maybe an LFO or some sort of modulation. So you can use them as proper VCAs. Now, they are bleed-free VCAs, so each one of those channels is completely bleed-free, which is really important for a lot of people that work with Eurorack, because some VCAs bleed. These sort of mixer things can be done on the cheap. And the other cool thing I like about it is you've got your individual outs, so you can run it like a proper VCA if you want to. So it's a little bit like the IntelliGel 4 VCA thing that was out a few years ago, but on top of that you can use it as a mixer. You've got your main mix out as well. Price $249 US. Gentlemen, thoughts? Mega-Tang.
Looks very nice. It looks very simple. I say it looks very nice, very simple, and very practical as well, and not megally priced neither.
Pretty good price. Quite compact. I think the HP was where was it? Oh, I lost my HP. It was written somewhere. I forget. Someone will tell me in chat.
Yeah, it doesn't look massive.
16 HP. There you go.
That's not bad at all.
Pretty good. Brooksy, your thoughts?
I have a couple of issues. Yeah, I do actually. On the surface, it looks like it's going to be great. However, it's only got one send, and I'd really love it to have two sends because I'm greedy like that.
Yep.
And I know that sort of goes against the flow of what Eurorack does in many ways. Just patch your thing into an effects unit and plug it in, but then you've got that's stereo, and then you've taken up two channels. So I wish I had two sends. There's no level for the return. It's just plumbed straight in, as far as I can tell. So you can't adjust the actual level of the return, and there's no master output level either.
Correct.
It's just a straight out.
Yep.
Which you may go, well, do you really need one? Actually, quite often, yeah. You're coming out a bit hot, Andy. Right, okay, just turn that down a bit.
Yeah.
So that maybe got it's a bit. On the other hand, as like another little mixer module in your rack, if you've already got something like I've got the Tesseract system here, which it's got, again, that's also got some issues. That is not bleed free. It's not so bad when everything's running, but when you mute things and sometimes you can hear some high frequencies bleeding through, it can be a bit irritating. But then again, that's also built to a price, and for the price of that particular ALM module, you can have the whole of the Tesseract, 4 mono, 4 stereo, and the output module for that amount of money. And so you pay your money, takes your choice, really. I think as a module, like Darren said, it looks like it's a very simple solution to perhaps a mixing problem in your rack, and I think a lot of people will find it really useful.
Yeah, so Brooks, you're kind of reminding me of these. Any sort of mixer.
I wondered if that would appear.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because you mentioned two sends, and this has got 2 mono sends and stereo returns. It has its own return attenuator, which you can see here. Yeah. And it's got a master level control, and just like you were saying. But if you look at this is kind of, actually, it's probably better if we looked at it on the video. This is kind of like a little bit different in the sense, those things are kind of mixer specific things, whereas this is probably trying to be more like a VCA that mixes with your other gear, and it just happens to have that sort of standard return if you need it, which I kind of think is cool. But the whole VCA part of it that's where those mixers that we just talked about, Brooksy, don't have the VCA bleed through.
No, they don't. Not in the same way.
And the CV control, putting an envelope through. Basically,
so you can't just use it basically as 4 VCAs.
You can, yeah. And I think that's probably the big attraction to this, and the bonus.
I see it's patched into a pip stuff. The other thing which I did like about it a lot is that it's got mute buttons rather than these little toggle switches, because these little toggle switches can be it's hard to do more than a couple at a time, really, unless you're doing the whole lot and then bringing them down.
Yeah, you can just run your finger across the mute buttons.
Particularly live, a little button where you could just do that would be much more useful than trying to grab hold of a switch and flick it. But that's another little thing.
Yeah,
the buttons are cool.
See, mixing in Eurorack, there's kind of two worlds. There's people that want to mix in Eurorack, and there's people that want just put modules in Eurorack and they use desk mixers, and they do it separately. And I do a bit of both, to be fair. I kind of don't mind mixing in Eurorack. I think it's kind of cool to blend sounds and then send that off to another VCA or whatever. It's a cool thing to be able to have it. So I don't know. I think a lot of people will probably like this, especially how it's got that sort of envelope control or modulatable control on each channel. I think that's really interesting. So anyone else want to make a comment? What about you, Andy? We haven't heard from you yet, so I know you like the Eurorack stuff.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, Eurorack. Who the hell wants to use Eurorack?
You do.
Hey, Andy.
But no, I love their products. They make big modules is one of my big complaints, I guess. That's why I don't have the squid sample. Even though it's cool stuff. But of course Pam's is great, and some of the other stuff they make is great. I don't have a need for something like that. I mean, I initially was kind of blown away how big the hex mix system was, because I got both parts, plus it just got the expansion modules. Now I have 10 inputs, plus the 3 send returns. And it actually came in really handy lately. I was on my friend's radio show, and I took a full patch of some stuff I just made over there. Plus I added some wacky sound effects, and I couldn't have mixed them all in if I hadn't added the extra 4 channels. So they really came in handy. So sometimes you really do need 10 channels, although I lived with 6 for so long. So
yeah,
I do outboard mixing as well, but it's just more cumbersome since I already have too many cases to carry around.
Yeah.
So it is nice to have it in the box, pre-patched, put the cover on, all that good stuff, instead of having to worry about another mixer. But I'm sure this is a good product. I wouldn't really have a use for it now, but maybe before I got all this other stuff, I would have.
Yeah. Now, we haven't talked about Pamela's Pro workout, because I think they covered it pretty decently on Sonic State last week. But there is another module out from ALM, which is basically just an upgrade to Pamela's new workout called Pamela's Pro workout. I think a lot of guys would probably like it that didn't like the screen of the old one. So
that's a big problem. Yes.
So I'll just wake it up. There's the screen of the old one. They think it's quite dark and it's a bit hard to read. Hang on. There we go. If I actually show you guys instead of wiping my fork. So it's that's Pamela's new workout, not Pamela's Pro workout. If I were you and you had a Pamela's new workout, I wouldn't be selling it and buying the Pro workout, unless you absolutely were like chafing at the bit at that screen and you hated it. So yeah, then do that.
Well, not only that, the current module extensions don't work on the new one.
Yeah, so there's a few things to wait for, I think, with the Pro, but that Mega-Tang is definitely something that works, and I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, check it out, and we can go to the next one now. Another Eurorack module, yay! I actually don't know much about these guys. The Malstrom people. So this is kind of quite a nerdy module. This one. This is the Arkan or Arcane maybe. I don't know. This one is kind of basically where's my little notes thing gone? A dual voltage polarizer. Now I look at this and I'm going, what? But I don't really have engineering degrees. I'm not really sure. But if I said to you guys, these modules are often used to help people for inverting voltages. So you may want to change a negative CV to a positive CV or vice versa. So you might have a negative waveform or a positive waveform. A really, really good example, there's quite a few good examples, but a really basic example is along here with the oscillator on the 2500 module. So, they're negative and positive, the way they work. So, and you can, LFOs and all sorts of stuff like that. So let's have a little look at the video. See what he's got to say about it. I'm not going to watch 5 minutes of it though.
Arkan is an 8 HP dual voltage polarizer, also known as a bipolar VCA. It can be used to boost, attenuate, modulate, polarize, mix, offset and invert your audio and CV, and is a great wave shaper and distortion too. Its versatility and small size makes it a great asset to any system.
All right, so he did mention wave shaping and attenuating and VCA tools in there as well. So this is kind of probably a pretty interesting product. What is out there that does that? I think the Maths does it to a degree. I'm just trying to think what else does it. There's some CV tools in the Behringer stuff.
Chip Top has a model too.
Tip Top booklet.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's the Tip Top booklet module.
Oh, it's not mounted. Oh, okay.
So that was.
I wanted to show it, but it was not mounted.
By the way, if you're wondering who said that, that was Henrik in the background.
Yes.
I have to be quick now to get this. I have to add myself another button now for the StreamYard people because I don't have one on my little controller here. Note to self: add button. Yeah, $199 for this module. Yeah, does it float the boat of anyone? Anyone interested in it? Maybe.
Nobody.
Don't really understand what it's doing.
But also there's ring modulator and some other distortion features and stuff. So
it does, yeah. Watch the video.
it says asymmetrical and symmetrical distortion.
By the way, if you are interested, at the end of the show, I do publish the blog article and all the links to all the videos, websites of all the manufacturers of all the modules and products that I show are on the Synth Geekery episode 187 blog article, so you'll be able to go and find it. Plus, you'll see all the other stuff, like all the price watch stuff we do, all the funny side memes are there. So do remember to check that out. Now, I think you'll probably like this one more, probably because it's more musical, and it's the Mandrake. Now, the Mandrake is actually a drum a kick drum synthesizer, I should say, not just a drum synthesizer. And I think this is kind of interesting because it's not your standard 808/909 analog kick drum, and it is analog too. So let's watch the video. And we're not going to watch 9 minutes of it though.
Mandrake is a 14 HP analog kick drum synthesizer designed with detailed sound sculpting in mind. Although it is meant to create kick drum styles for house, techno and dance music, it features a wide array of sounds that are not limited to these genres. By taking inspiration from DAW mixing techniques, digital kick drum synthesis and physical models of acoustic drums, it brings different elements together to create a very playable kick drum with a layered and distinct sound.
All right, so 9 minutes of video to watch there if you're interested in it. Now, just a real quick one. Maybe if we get the graphic up, it might help us. So this thing here, right? It uses this thing called where is it? Hit and body sections on it. So basically, you're shaping or you're creating the hit part of the kick. And then you're shaping the body part of the kick, and on top of that, you probably want to have something that you can control any sort of rumbles or cleaning up that sort of stuff if you've got sounds coming out the back of your body part. So that's got a high pass filter on it as well. So basically what you've got is, in a way, it's kind of two saturated resonant filters in here, and you're then manipulating how they work. So it's basically two VCFs. Quite an interesting sound. I think that sort of style of kick drum synthesis may need, some smart people behind it to see what it can produce. But it's not something I've seen. Be interesting that anyone in chat would know of anything similar to that. I guess it is modelled after stuff. So, as Roy said, the hit and body section is pretty smart. I thought so as well. The only product that I thought kind of resembled this was maybe the Volca kick. Do you guys remember the Volca kick?
Volca drum, actually. That's actually modelled.
Right, Volca drum?
Yeah.
I was thinking Volca kick runs, actually, about that. I thought, is this a Volca kick in a rack? Which is an interesting idea. I've always been intrigued by something like that. And I was a bit irritated by that little demo where the thing that he was demonstrating wasn't a kick drum, it was a bass sound. I wanted to hear something more oomphy. Actually, Half God, Half Beast has just said, like to see what Maths would do with it. As in Matt Hodson. Yeah, I think that's that sort of thing. I think this is quite an interesting looking module. Ticks my box way more than that other one. I didn't know what that was all about really because it's too scientific. This is a kick drum. What's to understand? It's easy. So, but if you can do all sorts of other things, somebody mentioned the BIA. That you can make nice drum sounds, but also make synths and pitch sounds. It's got a volt per octave CV on it. This particular module, which again is obviously what he was doing to get the pitch of that bass sound to change. Just makes it that bit more flexible. I think it's got quite a nice box. How much is it? Cut to the chase.
Almost €400.
$397.
$397, so probably about 320 quid or something like that.
Yeah.
350 quid. It's a lot for a kick drum. Oh, bloody hell.
Man, I have the Volca kick and the Volca drum. They're both different and interesting, but Volca kick is just a MS-20 circuit reduced.
Yeah.
So it's not modeled or anything. But the Volca drum is actually really cool. I know Ty hates it, but it's pretty cool. I was just messing with it the other day. So.
You muted, Ranz.
The Volca drum is digital, and the Volca kick is analog, and the Volca kick is based on a resonant MS-20 filter. So it uses it's got the same. It's got the same bones as what this module's got. Does that make sense? So I think the difference being this module's got two resonant filters in it, and the Volca kick's only got one. And as guys in the chat have rightly pointed out, having the two gives you the ability to manipulate that body and hit side of the drum, synthesis side. So I think you could probably create some really interesting sounds out of this. And you could probably get someone going, ooh, that's a new sounding kick. I might like to sample that and put it in your sampler. All right. I keep posting up the link in chat for StreamYard, Stream something. So if anyone wants to join it, they are welcome to. There's still a couple of spots left. Make sure you do say hi to me in the chat to say that you've joined it so that I can add you in, because I do have to manually add you in. But other than that, you can join. Who's in there right now? We have Chris and Henrik are in there at the moment, so you can join those two guys. They're in there, and they are. This is like the lounge, isn't it, Chris? Hey, you're kind of sitting in the lounge and having a beer.
It's the green room.
Yeah, just chilling here, Henrik, making snide remarks to each other,
throwing some to the screen. There we go. I need to press that button and get back to here. So anyway, Future Welsh Machines are saying I'm too shy. You don't need to be unshy. You can be as shy as you like, and you can just hang out with us. You don't even have to talk if you don't want to. It's all fun.
Hey, I've been sat here with a purple cat, purple person, so don't be shy.
Purple person who likes.
He's there.
Yeah, jeez, he could go into StreamYard. You know, he could do it, Darren.
Yeah.
Don't let him near the iPad, mate.
That'd be interesting. Oh God, no.
Yeah. That's some interesting
Oops. Inverted Popes just said, I was going to join, but my cufflinks are in the cleaners.
Brilliant. I could just imagine Chob when he was at high school, some of the excuses why he didn't do his homework. I mean, if he comes up with stuff like that, eh? Pretty good. Pretty good one. That's it for news, I believe. Yes, it is. We are finished. Hooray! So there was a bit of stuff this week. A lot of Eurorack, I know, but better than a poke in the eye, as they say in the classics. What was the most interesting product this week, do you think, out of all that? We had the Insruo Lubadh, the SS12, SSL12, the ALM 4 VCA mixer, the weird voltage polarizer, and the kick drum, the Mandrake, the kick drum.
Not being
I'm going to go
module,
with the Looper.
Go. Yeah,
So I was going to say I'll go with
not-
the Looper. It's always been a box that I've been quite intrigued by, even though it's bloody expensive. Looks amazing. Probably sounds great. The update will probably do an awful lot of good. But yeah, watch this space. Right, Ian, yours.
I was going to say exactly the same, only because not being a modular guy, I think it's beautiful. And, you know, yes, it's pricey, but, you know, if money was no object, I probably would have a modular system. And that would, actually, I'd probably have, the way that their whole modular system looks, when he shows the whole thing, it just looks amazing.
They do sell a whole
piece of art.
systems, but they are really pricey.
I bet
The thing
they
is,
are,
you can buy tiny
looks
little cases,
gorgeous.
just put one module in. You know, if you said you wanted that module, you just put that in and use that as almost like an effects unit, an effects pedal. But again, that's an expensive way to go when there are other things much less pricey. If you just wanted to do looping, there's you know, obviously like Boss pedals that would do the job quite cheaply. So
Yeah. Now,
Instruo makes cheap little modules that are just sliders, but that's the cheapest thing they make is little sliders.
Now, Chris,
they're quite pricey, but just sliders.
Sliders.
Chris had a comment.
It's like $60 or something.
Chris had a comment to make about the voltage module. Muted.
Oh,
he'll sort it. Don't worry. Here we go.
I got it. Sorry. Yeah, there's another company called Frap Tools, FRAPTOOLS, and they seem to do some very similar things with adding and inverting voltages and stuff. I can send you a link if you want, Ranz. I'll try to do that, but they're on Steep Street, is where I've seen them.
Okay. I'll have a
And
look.
they got the ones with all the. They got a whole lot of funky colors on them. So that black background.
They're a cool company. I talked to the guy at NAMM. It was pretty cool.
I have heard of those guys actually.
They take a lot of voltage though. They have a lot of power drain on their modules. So if you're running low on voltage, you got to be careful.
Yep.
And Ranzee, I also sent you a link to Tip Top's Miso. It's their utility model.
Okay.
So if Chris sends you his link, you can do what you want.
Oh yes, right. Okay.
Discord,
I'll check out both of those.
Discord,
We can have a look at those.
Discord.
We can have a look at both of those. No problem at all. It's taking a little while to load that page though, for some reason. Miso from Tip Top is a multi-purpose utility module which synthesizes control voltage signals. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, mixing, inverting, scaling, and offset. See, scaling and offset. See, we did talk about what I was saying before. We did talk about like getting involved in what we were talking on in Discord during the week. Now, Chris, you're making something at the moment, which is to do with clock scaling and offset at the moment, aren't you? That's kind of related to your
Yes.
Behringer sequencer. So you want to kind of make that more interesting by adding a little sort of side module to it.
Yeah, so it'll be a companion tool to go with the 182 mixer that just does processing of gates and processing of it create ratchets. The idea behind it is just that it's relatively small, and it sits next to the 182 and works off the second channel of the 182. So you basically, when you're in the mode with two 8-channel step sequences, what my module will do is it'll take the CV from the second one and turn that either into variable gate times, or it'll produce ratchets on each step. And it has a few other useful things in there that you suggested, Rant, which is things like a precision adder, which will obviously be good for doing voltage shifting on the CV for the pitch. And I've also added a few other quirky things to do more processing on the clock, because I'd like to do things like do a simple clock division so that I can run another sequencer next to it that's just running at a much slower rate, doing the sort of progression side of if you're doing techno or something, I'm just getting it to actually progress through different chords. So that's the idea, and as well as just trying to make it look a bit cool and a bit different, and using some interesting components that we've been sharing on Discord. And it's just fun.
Awesome.
That
I
sounds
can't
really
actually
cool.
wait to see it. It does sound really cool.
How long till that's going to be sort of up and running or ready, available?
Well,
sounds really interesting, because I've got the 182 and I love it.
Well, that's always the question, isn't it? It's always the question, isn't it? Is when can I buy it? I have to be completely. I have to be completely. Yeah, look, I have to be completely honest. I'm not a manufacturer yet. Never say never. But I will be. I reckon it's possibly something that could be a DIY kit. I could possibly make available. I'll basically make the firmware completely available on Git. I'm all for sort of open source and sharing, so it'll not be something that I'll probably be pursuing commercially, other than just basically trying to recoup costs and things like that. But I'm not really set up to run a business. I'm not really set up to do manufacturing. I'm really just learning all of this because I'm going in this direction, and it's just interesting to me. And certain things are happening at work, which means I might not have a job in 13 months. So I'm kind of thinking of other options as well. So just exploring, just something I enjoy. So, but anyway, yeah, this is the beginnings of it. So it's got this 3 CV inputs, which is going to be the beginnings of it. And I just got to do, so I can already start on the firmware. That's the cool thing. So basically I'm concentrating on doing the panel design, layout, ergonomics, and then working on the firmware, and gradually those two things will come together. The other thing I'm doing is I'm trying to base it on a kind of a reusable module. So I'll be creating a whole lot of, the idea is to create a whole lot of different modules that use the same kind of CPU board. This is something I've learned from looking at 2HP, which is one of the modules I got this week. The 2HP LFO and the 2HP SEQ. Interesting to note that they're using exactly the same CPU board for both of those modules. They've just got a different piece of firmware in it and a different front panel, control panel. So it's obviously the way to go. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I do with my spare time.
Brilliant. It's really, really impressive, mate. I just put the link into the chat again. If you want to join Chris and Henrik in on StreamYard, they're actually they've joined us via StreamYard, and we've still got a couple of spots left in there. So please do join us.
I'm sure Chris's module will be much more interesting, but if you want one that's on the market now that's boring and fairly cheap, I have the Depfer A160-5 clock multiplier ratcheter. and it works
Yeah.
pretty well. I had to
Yeah,
buy it
I've-
because my dark time doesn't have ratcheting. So
I've got
Yeah.
another clock module from Dofer. They're really good, actually.
Yeah, I nearly bought one of those, but then I thought of this and thought, no, I can do this. This is, and I could probably.
yeah,
come
it's
up with
really
other cool
basic. Yours
stuff.
is probably gonna be much better.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
Hope so. Yeah.
Now, Chris, that was the module you were talking about, the Frap Tools one. So I've got that up for you guys.
Yeah.
Because people go, oh, what are they talking about? That's what we're talking about.
You
That's
can't
Australian.
mistake
love
them.
their colors.
That's Australian dollars, by the way. Big shout out to Steep Street, by the way. They're a bunch of quite a small boutique company based in Sydney. They sell Eurorack gear, and
tea.
yeah, and tea. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if they might do it online because they used to have an actual shop in
No, yeah,
in
I think they
Katoomba.
got rid of that.
but they got rid of it. And I think they're just running
They got
their
rid of
business online now.
Yeah,
And
they
that
do a
was,
lot of art.
that was COVID related too. That's what COVID did.
They
to them.
do. Yeah, they're also a venue for art installations, so they occasionally have artists come in, visual artists and
Yep.
multimedia artists and stuff like that.
Yep. And the other one that Henrik mentioned was the Tip Top Audio Miso, which is Mix, Invert, Scale, Offset. That's what that stands for. It's actually pretty cool, this looking module. I like it. I like the look of the Tip Top stuff. I don't know. Some people don't like the greens and the yellows and the whites. I like it. I reckon it looks really cool. But you can get the black versions if you want, if you don't like it. And I reckon that's a smart thing to do if you're a manufacturer. If you do something that's a little bit out there and people go, "Ooh, I don't like that," you can make a a black version. Where are we up to now? Oh, that's right. We are up to this, which I think is this button. Oh yeah, have we got some cool stuff to look at this week? Starting with this one.
Oh,
Wow, you're right there, Brooks. I hope that was okay for you.
Yeah, calm down, man. I
set
think
me
it
off,
took him.
didn't it?
It did set you off.
Hang on a minute. Do you get both for that price?
It is, apparently. Let's go look at the live auction. I got it over here. There we go. Yay. And let's have a look at the listing first because you're getting... this is a big shout out to Kent, by the way. You're getting a CS80
Kent's
and
had
a
his hands on it.
CS70M, and he's had his hands on it. The CS80 has been repaired by him, and the CS70M is in good condition. Let's have a look at some of the photos. Geez, that CS80 looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It looks lovely.
Does it have the KSR mods?
That is a lot of money though. It's what is it? It's nearly £50,000. That's a lot of money. That's a deposit on a house type stuff.
Yes, it is.
You
Well,
really would have to want one of these, I think.
Some CS80s have been going for that full stop. So a CS70 as well. I mean, they're going for silly money too.
There's
So
the
two
CS70.
together.
I think they were saying that only the CS80 has been repaired by Kent. So
Yeah.
this still looks pretty good though. I mean, you got to remember these things were made in the 70s. I was talking to a friend the other day, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, 30 years ago." No, try 50 years ago. Try 50 years ago. People forget how long ago the 70s were. It's 50 years ago now. Well, the early 70s is anyway. Geez, it's beautiful, isn't it? Hey, look at that. Such a good-looking synthesizer. Yamaha, what are you doing? Make some more, please.
Oh, the
Make
case is
some
in
more.
beautiful condition.
Make
Kent's
some
had
more.
that sorted out. He's done a really good job on that. Wow.
All right, so that's the first one. What do we got next?
Yeah, two for.
And Sonic cartridge. This is kind of interesting. By the way, none of these are scammy this week. I've kind of, I haven't found any scammy ones. Oh, there were a few on Discord that we might be able to have a look at a bit later. These are actual, cartridges that you put in your ESQ1, and actually do have an auction to go and have a look at it if you like. This is what they look like. Is the internet struggling? There we go. Let's get all excited about cartridges. In the old days, that's how you changed your patches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these things are pretty sought after. 320 presets in total between the 4 cartridges. $491. That's £250. It's a lot of money, I think. But I believe if you were pretty good with SysX, you probably don't need stuff like that, right? Because the ESQ1,
I have a 16-in-1 cart for ESQ1. It's pretty cool.
Now, if you, Andy, if you are pretty good with SysX, you may actually want to get yourself one of these. An Ensoniq SQ80.
Oh.
These are actually probably...
I have one too.
Oh,
This is a pretty decent price.
that's half the price.
1,400
Yeah.
Australian dollars. 700
Yeah.
quid.
700 quid is actually not a bad price. Remember, these aren't scammy, these auctions. These are just normal auctions. Now, I don't know if you guys remember.
Looks nice, Con.
This baby has polyphonic aftertouch. Oh yeah. And if you like the sound of the ESQ1, so this has got the ESQ1 in it, but more, and polyphonic aftertouch. So this is probably the better one to get. I've got an ESQ1.
I got one in my local shop for about $250 a few months ago. So.
Oh, you lucky bugger.
Yeah.
Oh,
The store's stupid. They're mostly selling guitars.
Sorry,
They don't know
I'm
crap
big.
about synths. So they...
They're actually the ESQ1 and this are very similar in the way that they operate. You probably think, like, that's a massive big LCD screen on here. But the cool thing about this synth is actually one of the first synths that had buttons on it and not very many knobs and sliders, and it was actually not menu divey at all, because what was
that
on
voice
the screen,
architecture on the right, isn't it? Yeah. You press the button and you go straight to the envelopes, the LFOs. And
Yep.
I thought it was a great system.
Yeah.
Wish I had one.
There's a million photos in there. I'm not going to go through them all. So yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, it's funny you
decent.
mentioned Poly Aftertouch. Even the lowly EPS, the original cheaper sampler, has Poly Aftertouch. I was just playing with it the other day. I forgot it also has Poly AT on it.
They make some good gear in Sonic. Now, you guys are going to absolutely... Well, I am anyway. I'm being very, very, very selfish. We're going to love this one. We're just going to love it. You ready? Oh.
Oh, wow.
So we saw a CS80, and now we're looking at a 100M, and this is an absolute thing of beauty. Oh, I love these things. I want to get my hands on one. I know I've got the Behringer things, but it's not the same thing. Look at that.
No.
This has got the 110, which is it's a VCO, VCF, VCA all in one. Plus, it's also got the 112, so an extra an extra 2 oscillators. So it's 3 oscillators here. This has got 3 filters, 3 VCAs, and 3 oscillators, and 2 EGs, and then you've got some mults down the bottom. So probably, and an LFO. What's it missing? Probably missing the sequencer. Really, it's about the only thing
it's got
it's missing.
no noise generator, but hey.
But just to have it.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Roland made some pretty good gear.
Really, really lovely thing.
Imagine that sitting on your desk, eh? Wouldn't that be cool? So what was it worth? 7,000 Australian. What, 3.5, 4,000
3.5.
pounds? Yeah.
It's reasonable. I've seen them way more expensive than that.
Yeah. I hope
We
to.
should make a boutique version.
That one's
Did
in
you see?
that one's in Tokyo, so there'd be a few there, I reckon.
Did anyone see Alex Paul's video about his sort of Roland stories? Where he talks about the Juno 6 and his System 100 that he's got, and he's got a couple of modules, or just one, which is possibly the only one of that module ever, because and just chucked in a box and they found it. And I thought that was amazing. I mean, it's a funny little module, but it was like, oh wow! I mean, just that one module, just it's like going, oh! I was really quite impressed. Just thought that's amazing. What a fantastic story. So
A lot of people
if you
forget.
haven't seen it, go and watch Alex's video. It's great.
This was kind of like, and the Moog stuff as well. I'm not gonna discount the Moog stuff, but this is kind of like the start of Eurorack. Really, this is where these modules were a certain form factor, and the obviously the Moog ones as well. The system 50s and all that sort of stuff. They were all sort of. It's so cool. The history of synths Really, really interesting. This one of the things I love about the 100M is it does kind of sum up that whole Roland analog sound in a nice little sort of modular way, and you can manipulate it quite nicely. So yeah, if you have, what is it, $7,000, Chris? If you've got $7,000 and you want to wait for someone to post something from Japan, you can get yourself a System 100. There we go.
Yeah.
There's our little StreamYard
Probably.
guys.
You probably have a 50-50 chance of it, falling off the shipping container on the way here. But apart from that, it's a pretty low risk kind of option.
Speaking of stuff coming from Japan, I'm waiting on my sample track, and I got the FedEx. I'm sorry, I was just checking StreamYards. I got the FedEx notification last week, so
there he is.
it didn't.
Got it.
Yeah, let's do that again, Andy.
You want to hear it? I made a crappy little demo on it. Finally learned how to use it.
Oh, we'll go to it in a sec, mate, but not just yet because we're in the middle of the little segment. But yeah, geez, they're a lot smaller than you think, aren't they?
Tiny.
Yeah, they fit in your hand.
Mine's not arrived yet.
Yeah. So I was hoping to have it for this week, but it'll be next week. So I will show it on the show next week. Now, bearing in mind, I did mention that I wanted to invite Chris Dodsworth and Robbie Puricelli and whoever else has got one. We'll have a sample track show, soon, whether it's next week or.
I'll get mine before next week then.
Yeah, if we get it. Time. Yeah. Now, just remember too, if you've already just got one, like Andy, you've just got yours. These are kind of like beta. These are Kickstarter projects, so these are kind of really like beta hardware products. And the firmware still isn't 100% perfect. They've done their best to try and get it out. There's
I have a bug to report already, so
there's a few bugs in them, but that's the benefit of you getting it at Kickstarter price, because if you want to try and buy one now, I think they're like double the price now. Not quite double the price. So, anyway, we'll see what happens. I still haven't touched one yet, so I've watched a lot of videos, watching people play with their sample tracks. Watched obviously the special that Pro Synth Network put out last week. I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, we'll put one together. Now, that's it for the regular segments, and I'm just double checking to make sure no one else has popped into StreamYard. Nope, that's good. Right, what we were going to do next is we were going to talk about some of the things that come up on Discord during the week. And the first thing, this one's related to Henrik, and I just need to move him to the front. It's not a massive issue, but I kind of feel like it's important. So Henrik, we're going to bring you in as a little person up in the corner. I can't move that, can I? Actually, what can we do? Why don't we do this? We'll bring Henrik in as layers. Gosh, where is the StreamYard one? What's StreamYard one called? It's called 56. Okay. Sorry guys, you won't know what that means, but there we go. Cool. And if I go to this view, I can go StreamYard and me at the same time. Yay, look at the technology. Hello, Henrik.
Fantastic.
How are you, mate? You good? Now, during the week, I'll report what happened, and Henrik can then let you know his pain. During the week, Henrik bought a synthesizer, and it shipped all the way from wherever it came from, Thomann or whoever it was, and it arrived, and it didn't have a functioning power supply. So, Henrik, just take us through your pain, and then I'm going to talk about what we talked about in Discord in a sec. But just take us through your pain, because you had a pretty big rant about this during the week. Take us through your pain.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, I wrote Thomann that I think they have a problem with their delivery times. The time it takes to deliver things, and I have noticed it during the last half year or so. So I wrote a long mail about that, and I was being nice and made it quite constructive. And then I ordered a package with 2 synthesizers. And it took 6 days to arrive here, and the distance totally is around 700 kilometers or something like that. And the time in Germany was 4 or 5 days, and then less than a day in Denmark. And Denmark was 250 kilometers. So something is wrong in Germany with at least with the transport companies they're using. But just for the package to leave Thomann, it takes about 1.5 days. That's too much. It's not smart. It's not good. Customers will run away. And that's
I don't think it's just. Sorry, Henrik. I don't think it's just Germany though, because I think shipping is a problem probably across the world at the moment.
When I order at their competitors' music store, it arrives within 3 to 4 days, and it's each time. So almost each time.
I'm not jumping in, but when I had the problem before all this started, and I thought it was due to Brexit, but looking at it, it doesn't look like it is.
No, I don't think it is.
Even during COVID, they said that COVID could cause delays, but that didn't happen here.
I mean, if I export to, I don't export. I've never exported to Denmark, not since Brexit anyway, but the only places we're sending to now are probably, we do send to Europe, but we also send to America. And it's usually down to price, to be fair, Henrik. I mean, if the customer is willing to pay more for shipping, then they can probably get it in 67 days. But normally, the cheapest shipping to America is 15 days for us. So I do agree with you about Thomann spending a day and a half before they even get it out the door. That's not on. Once it's out of their hands, I mean, I have to say, I would say that 6 days sounds like the normal sort of a normal reasonable shipping once it's out of the dealer's door.
But the shipping wasn't really not the only problem.
No,
the problem was
have we lost Brooksy, by the way? I think we've lost Brooksy. He's frozen in time. Just I thought I'd mention that just before someone else mentions it.
He's deep in thought.
He is. Now let's quickly.
He's enjoying his drink.
Let's sort of get away from the shipping argument because
because
it's probably less to do with the shipping argument and more to do with troubleshooting. So what happens if you do get something that doesn't have the right power supply? See, a lot of people buy stuff used and it doesn't have the right power supply, or they don't have a power supply. They ship something without a power supply. And one of the things I was trying to help, with Henrik is he doesn't have to. I mean, obviously he'll need to deal with the warranties and stuff like that and get the original power supply eventually. That's definite because he's entitled to it. But one of the things he can do is he can just go to his local electronics store and pick up a compatible power supply. And I thought, not everyone knows how to do this, right? And I thought this is not exactly rocket science for people that do know, but there are a lot of people out there that don't know how to do it. And I thought I'd just mention it as a solution. So Henrik, do you want to quickly say what you wanted to say first, and then I'll tell people how we can work out what power supplies are needed?
Cool. But the problem is, you can't just order another power supply. The jack has to be the same. These looks the same, but they're not. And in one of them, come on.
They've got that sort of double barrel thing in the middle. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, but the thickness of them and the depth of the pin and all that is different. I haven't found a single one which is like the Korg one. I have plenty
No,
of
you won't
power
with the
supplies.
Korg.
No,
Well, you might.
Yeah.
You
but
might.
I
The
could
Radio
cut-
Shack
I could
adapter
cut
plug
the
equivalent.
wire. I could cut the wire and use that.
Yes.
But I have to get a go from Toman before I do that because it's still under warranty. Will they send a new one? Do I have to return this one? If I don't have to return it, then I can cut the wire and use it.
Is that the
Then
K?
there's no
Is that the
problem.
KA310? By the way, is it the KA310? It
The
says
power
on-
supply?
The one that came with the OP6. I can't tell from that. It's not focusing. Yeah, it's all blurry. You'll need to read it for us. I can't tell.
Yeah, it's I need some lights.
Yeah.
Oh, hang
Well,
on.
while you're doing that,
This is better.
so Henrik's brought up some really interesting things because I think that's important to know as well. But if you were looking for a power supply, and I'll just go to Amazon. It's probably the easiest one to go with, and just get a variable. You're showing me there. What is it?
It's KA390, but below it says A361. The model A361.
Yeah. So let's just have a look at this, for example. Right. So this is the easy solution, right? So you could go to Amazon. You could pick up. I do excuse me because it's showing Australian plugs here, so don't get too bent out of shape. We've got weird plugs here. But if I've just picked this one, for example. So this one here comes with a bunch of different sort of barrels on it, right? And if you look at the left-hand side, it's got some of them are different. Some of them have got this type of connection. You've probably seen the older ones that have got the two little pins that plug into the back. This one might actually be pretty good because you can actually buy through AliExpress a whole bunch of other adapters that will fit this as well. But the other thing too is you'll notice on here is the switchable part of the power supply. Just use a little flathead screwdriver and you can go from 6 volt, in this particular case, 9 volt, 12 volt, all the way up to 24 volts. So you'd be able to power your Dunlop pedals at 18 volts. There's 15 volt stuff, I think, is some of the gear that I've got. It's got 15 volts. I think it might be the Novation stuff. It might be the 15 volt stuff, if I remember rightly. 12 volts is a lot of gear that's 12 volts, which is probably the new Korg stuff is the 12 volts. And then a lot of gear we've got is 9 volts. So that's your first thing. Now the second part of it, and this is just to help people, the second part of it is polarity. So you got to get polarity right. And on your synth manual, I'll just go to us for a second. I'll get the synth manual up. If we were looking at particularly Henrik's issue, and he had the Korg OP6 manual, we'll just do that for a Google search and find that. Hopefully it lets us download it.
Positive.
Yeah,
There is
I'm going to get there.
There's a little tool.
Just one sec.
There's a little tool you can get to check the polarity on these things as well. It doesn't cost very much. I'll bring one up if I can. I mean, I bought one quite a while ago and I've used it quite a bit because you can't always guarantee if you get the polarity wrong that you aren't going to blow something.
Yeah. So usually it's either going to be in your manual or it's actually going to be written on the actual piece of hardware itself on the back. It'll actually tell you with this little diagram here what the polarity is, and you can see. I might have to zoom in a little bit more actually. I don't know if this one's going to be a good example. Oh yeah, there you go, we can see it. So you can see here, just there where it's got the DC 12 volt jack, see how you've got the little plus symbol here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse flipping around. I'll see if I can highlight it for you. No, I can't. What can I do? I can do that. There we go, zooms in. So you've got the little plus symbol there, and it's pointing to the middle. So that is what we call center positive. Now I know a lot of people
Positive
think.
tip also.
No, a lot of people will think, "Oh my god, I already know this. What's he crapping on about, mate?" A lot of people do not know this.
Don't. Yeah.
So, and one of the things you can do is if you get the polarity wrong, you can blow up your gear. So when you go back to the Amazon site that you were looking at before, just make sure that you've got some of these you can actually swap the polarity around, and you can use both. So that one I was looking at before from Amazon, you can actually in this particular case you can't swap the polarity around because it's this plug system. But the ones that have got the pins, you can actually just unplug the adapter, turn it around, and plug it back in, and you've just changed from center positive to center negative. So that's really as basic as it gets. So matching. It's one more thing I haven't mentioned yet, but match the polarity, match the barrel type. So there are different types of barrel types, but the standard one is 2.5 millimeter DC. And I know it's not quite that for Henrik, for you, but there are adapters you can get off AliExpress that will work. Because Korg don't just make their own, and it's not proprietary. It is actually a standard one that you can get. You just have to find out what it's called. And the last thing to definitely make sure you've got correct, and we'll go back to that manual again, is the amps is really, really important. So knowing how many amps, I don't know if it's going to say it in here.
So the Korg one, this is the standard Korg one, which is it would probably work with a up 6, but I had it for the micro Korg. Is 1. I can't even. It's so small I can't read
1.5 it should be.
1.7 amps.
1.7. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one I got here is 2.5.
Yeah. So general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Is if it needs, say the back of the synth says 1.5, don't go under. So don't get a power supply that says 1 amp or 500 milliamps. It'll have the little MA. So that's kind of one really important thing. Make sure you don't go under, because that's your current. So that's what's drawing how much power the synth needs to pull from that power supply. And if it's not powerful enough, it doesn't let enough current through, your synth won't. It may turn on, but it may not be able to operate correctly, and you might actually do some internal damage for it. So yeah, make sure. I don't think it's too bad if you go a bit over. Like in Henrik's case, the actual Korg power supply they ship is actually more than what the synth advertises it needs. So it's 2 amps, and it only needs 1.5. And in that case, it's just like having a bit of headroom. So it's actually not a bad thing. But I wouldn't go crazy over, 5 amps, something like that, because you're going to be over currenting something. Anyone want to make a quick comment about that?
That's not a problem. If your
current is
equipment
just
doesn't,
the bigger the current, the more battery it is technically. So it's usually doesn't hurt unless your circuit sucks.
It should be fine.
Yeah, it's only if it's shorted inside the circuitry. Then it's bad to have a high amp.
Yeah.
But
another thing too is
everything above is okay.
As Chris said in chat, same volts, same polarity, on or above for amps, and there you go. Now, anyone want to make some comments about finding the right plug? Is there an easy way to find the right plug?
Well, I find them on eBay a lot if I don't have it. But I also make them from Radio Shack parts with adapter plugs and multi-voltage switchers.
Yep.
So I have a huge collection of all those little plugs.
Yeah. Ian, go.
That was the power supply that came with. See if you can see it. Whoops, sorry. Where's the camera? That's the power supply that came with the organelle from America. Now, when I checked it, it would work in the UK, but it needed one of these, which is just actually it's a UK shaving adapter, and it just goes like that. So you can use that sort of thing, really. Ideally, a company, when you're spending 600 quid, shouldn't be sending an American plug with it. They should be sending. The Korg ones. It's interesting looking at the Korg one. This bit of the Korg one, you can change the pins out.
Yeah, that's a good way.
It just slides out, and they will usually send you whatever's right for your country, along with a load of others. So it'll be a European one, an American one, whatever. So that's what they should be sending.
Yeah.
But that is what I think is the problem with this adapter. I think it's the connection here between the adapter and the power supply, because if I
Doesn't
measure,
fit.
I've measured it on a scope, and there's absolutely no difference between connecting the power supply or disconnecting it. So the power is not getting into it. Then it would be a little noisy,
right.
and I measured no noise at all.
So, I mean, in your case, you've got a dodgy power supply, and you just need to get yourself another one. And that's fine.
The
you
reality
just go to your
is,
local electronics store and just buy one.
Yeah.
That will get you out of a jam, for the interim time, and then go back to Thomann and say, "Hey, Thomann, you guys need to ship me the proper power supply."
I
And
will
they should.
visit an electronic shop to on Monday, because I think, and that was why I started with the delivery story. I think it will take 6 more days to get the power supply from Thomann after they take the
sadly,
case.
And at least that, in my case, my advice was to just go down and, what are they, 149 or something. What's your currency called again? Kroner or something, isn't it? Danish kroner or something. Yeah. Which is about
7 krone.
it's about
7
30.
krones is about $1.
It's about £15 or $30 Australian. So it's actually not it's not a massive out of pocket thing for you. But if you got one, I was suggesting if you got one that's got the switchable power voltage on it, then once Korg ship you the real one, you've now got something that's useful for you to use for other things, and with those multiple plugs on it and stuff like that. That was all kind of what I was saying.
But it usually doesn't happen. It's very rare that it happens. So, but it's good to have one spare lying around.
it is.
So I will get something on Monday from a shop. Ordering it from AliExpress or something like that here, it will take weeks. So that's not a choice.
What's Lady Aptitude asked me? What's the white spot on my screen? Is it on my glasses? That's probably just a light.
Yeah, it's probably your glasses.
Are you talking about the spots in the middle there, where my hand is there? That's the Synth Geekery logo, if that's what you're talking about. Anyway, let us know what you mean. Okay, cool. So that was the first thing.
One more quick thing people can learn from some pain that I've had doing stupid stuff. These Brother P-Touch things are really useful. Get one of these little machines. They're super cheap. I label all my cables with it, but
I've
power,
got them too. They're great.
I kept misplacing all my wall warts, all my power supplies, just having too much stuff. So everything I buy, I write down the polarity, the voltage, the amperes, and any other special thing if I know the barrel size or whatever. Put that on the back of the synth or the bottom of the synth, somewhere easy to find near the power jack. So if I'm hunting for a power supply, I can make an equivalent one with parts I have, or find another one laying around somewhere.
Great idea. Excellent idea.
Save you a lot of time, because I'm always misplacing crap. So
and I always just label. I always just label the actual power supply
and the power supply too.
Yeah, exactly. I do the same, Ian. Yeah, exactly the same.
Just with, because and
the other side of the lead too, so I know where it's coming from.
Oh, I don't do that. I don't think there's a need to do that. But if you've got a
crap load of rat's nets like I have of cables, you need that.
Cool. Okay, so that was the other one of the topics we talked about on Discord during the week, which I thought was good.
Cool. One more thing, because I now when I had this problem, I thought, well, it's a Korg up 6. I can download the software. I can download the native version and play with that. No, because it has to be connected before I can use it to get the cheap version of the native software. If it's not connected, I can't use a serial number for getting it. It's stupid. So I will have
that is a Korg misstep, isn't it? I agree.
Yeah, that's indeed. But I got 2, so this was the second one I got. So I have this to play with.
Yeah, you have some fun with that.
Oh, very nice.
And no problems about the power supply here, because
I heard it does really good super saw. That's what I heard.
Batteries.
There we go. What's Andy got here?
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen it, these are the switchable power supplies. It goes from basically, I think it's 3 volts up to 12 volts.
Yeah, they're good.
And then you have this adapter that comes off. And then there's a little thing that says tip. And that's the center mark.
Yep.
And you just rotate it based on which one it is, and you never get it wrong. And these are color-coded. So M is a very common standard. This is a little blue ring on here, which is M, which is like almost all the Roland stuff. Not the Korg stuff. They often use, I think it's an H.
Korg uses the 1.7 Sony. It's usually a yellow tip.
Yeah, it's like a yellow ring usually.
Yep.
There's also a green ring on some things, which is I think it's an N. But anyway, so there's an old Radio Shack system that some other companies have adopted, and you can buy these on eBay still, and also even some Radio Shack up there in stock. So just build your own power supplies in a pinch.
That's what I was mentioning before, Andy, about how they've got the pins. See on the actual. Go back to your other camera again.
Sorry.
They've got the pins on the actual barrel connector. Go down a little bit with your hands. Just move your hands down a bit. There. See how that's got the little pins, the 2 pins? And if you just rotate that one way or the other, that's how you change your polarity. And that's what I was saying. Go for the ones...
on here it says tip.
Yeah, or sometimes it doesn't say tip. Sometimes it might say plus or minus.
On the Radio Shack, it always says... But it depends on which one you buy.
Cool. There you go. All right, now we move on from that one because I kind of want to talk about the other topic that came up during the week, and that was, and we talked about it during news, which I thought was brilliant. And I said we're going to talk more about this when we, finish talking about news. And that was, where's my little thing gone? Why don't we do this, and then I can zoom in. So. Mixers in Eurorack, I thought was a really interesting topic. So mixers in Eurorack, and the reason why mixers in Eurorack are interesting is because I think it's a very personal thing. I don't think that's the right thing. Hang on a sec. Where's my little... I thought that was it. PDZ not working? Sorry, let me just get my PDZ working again. Visca over IP... Oh, gosh. Why has it dropped my... There we go. So I can zoom in. We can zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to go into this one because I've got a few in here, so it's not just about feedback modules. Yes, I do love them, but I did buy these mixers, by the way. So yes, they do send me some stuff for free, but I did buy these. Bought 2 of them. Now, when you're doing stuff in Eurorack and you want to mix, you kind of have to sort of ask yourself a few questions. You're going to say to yourself, well, what am I mixing for? Am I mixing just to record? Am I mixing to play live? Am I mixing to funk around with panning and blending sounds together? And am I sending it? Am I returning it? So you got to kind of ask yourself all these questions. What do I want to achieve out of a mixer? Because there's so many that you can get, and it really does become quite, head scratchy. And yeah. So there's a guy that was in Discord during the week called Darius Maximus. He's in there. He was talking about what he wants to get and what he thought was good value and not good value and things like that. So when I first started my Eurorack journey, I actually got the Roland System 500 modules, and I used the mixer in that, which is was pretty pricey. It's actually over to the right here. In the corner there. That's it there. The System 500. What is it? The 5... I can't even read it. Someone will tell me. 531 or something. And I liked it for a couple of reasons. It's just a really basic mixer. It's a 6-channel mixer. You have CV controls over your pans, which was one of the cool things about it. I'm actually using this now as a summing mixer. Now, that's a cool sort of thing to do in Eurorack because you might have your sub mixers, okay, which is just to the left of it. There's another Mix BX, and that is now summed from the main output of that into my summing mixer, right? So, and this is all still in Eurorack. So if I wanted to, I could perform with this or whatever. So just go back. Let's just go back to the these mixers here that you see. you've got to sort of ask yourself, what is the plan? What do I want to achieve? And we showed earlier today in news, we showed a VCA mixer, right? So you can mix with VCAs. I've got a clone of a Behringer one. If I go down, you can see the 4-play there. That's a 4-channel VCA that you can also use as a mixer, and that actually works as 4 independent VCAs as well. So you could use multiple VCAs as a mixer as well. So what do you want to achieve? Now, most people who go into Eurorack would probably want something along the side of this. At least 6 channels. I think 6 channels is a good number. And that you want to be able to send and return effects into it. You want to be able to pan. You want to be able to mute. You want to be able to adjust the levels. And in this particular case, I've also got, I've actually got a preamp in these, which is why it's called Mix BX. It's based on the Boss BX mixing circuits. And that's why it's got the input preamps. And you can see the little gain stuff there. Plus, it's also got a little mini EQ. You've got low and high EQ, which you can actually overdrive. It's pretty cool. Other than that, you may not want those things, but they're just like a nice little flavor to the mixer. And I honestly definitely recommend any sort of mixer that you're going in Eurorack, make sure it's got headphones. Because if you want to troubleshoot anything, you might be listening through your audio interface or something like that. You think, I can't hear anything. What's going on? And then you plug some headphones into your mix, and all of a sudden you can hear something. So you know how to troubleshoot your signal path. That would be my recommendation. But that one there is pretty low cost. I think from memory, they're about 250 euros, something like that. I can't remember. Someone will be able to remind me what they are. So you can blow a lot of money.
290 euros now, Ranzee.
290, they've gone up a bit.
Actually, this morning, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, you could blow a lot of money on mixers. I'm going to go across to Andy because he's got I'm going to bring up a graphic while he's talking about it. But Andy, you've got the hex mix, haven't you?
The Bronco hex mix? Yeah.
I'll
hex
bring
mix,
it.
hex expander, and then the add-on 4-channel module. So you can get 4 more channels into the whole mix, which is really handy.
It's a pretty big system.
It is, and it's meant to go vertically. So if you don't have a vertical orientation, you can make it horizontal, but it's really designed to go in vertical stripes, just like a normal mixer. So because you have EQs per channel, you have a master EQ on the out bus, and you also have there you go, and then you have the little the volumes at the bottom there. So that's the top module. That's what I use as the top module anyway. And inputs on the left side there. And then the hexpander usually goes below it. And that has the effects and returns, the additional stuff with headphone jack and some other things in there as well. The pre-fade switches. So you can have it, auditioning or not auditioning for your like DJ style kind of stuff. And it's really powerful little guy. There's also a VCA module that I didn't get to add even more channels, and also used as a VCA in some circumstances. But I don't need that, so I have plenty of VCAs already. So
this gives you 3 auxiliary sends and returns. With the hexbander, if you get the hex mix and the hexbander together, I think the price of the two combined is over $1,000. I think it's something like in Australian dollars, it's something like around about the $1,400 mark.
It's also a kit too. If you're adventurous, you can put it together. But I got it from some guy in France like 5 years ago for about what was it? It's $800 or something like that. The whole kit.
Yeah.
So perfect condition.
So brand new, you're probably looking about $1,000. But one of the cool things about this is it is bleed free. They're pretty good. Also, you can do pre and post with your sends.
Yep.
And that's something that I can't do unless I use inserts. So you can get some pretty funky stuff. But this is the question you want to ask yourself. You can get very elaborate mixes in Eurorack, like the hexbander and the hex mix system, but you could probably buy yourself a desktop mixer cheaper that would do the same thing and that's really going to be, do I need it to be in my modular, or can I just have a desktop mixer sitting nearby, save a bit of coin, buy some modules that you need? I think they're pretty decent questions to ask yourself. But
this is why I buy clone modules a lot, because that takes a lot of space. I needed more space for this mixer, so I bought the small clone modules.
Yep. Yeah. Overall, though, you like you pretty much rate the hex mix and the hex.
I love it. Plus the little mute. If you can bring up the graphic again, bring up the little mute there. The performative mute is awesome. It's this little rocker switch, and it's down for mute, off. So you play it like a key almost.
Is it the PFL, the red buttons?
The other graphic.
Oh, the other graphic?
Yeah, the other graphic.
Oh, fine. Don't worry.
It's you push down to play it, basically. So you can actually hold multiples down at once as a momentary, and you push up to lock it on. So it's another feature of there's little switches in the middle, the little lines there, little metal lines just to the left of the white knob. Yeah, right there. Those, so if you push them up, they lock on. Normal, they're off, and you push down and they're spring loaded. So you play like
they're
a
momentary.
keyboard.
Yeah, they're momentary switches. Yep. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah, they are cool.
And they're also Vactrol controlled, so they don't just cut off. They have a nice ease out.
Yeah. I do use the mutes a lot in mine. So definitely get yourself something that's got mutes if you can, because I use them a lot. And I mean, I'll run my fingers along my mutes all the time. I'm trying to find my mouse. Where's my mouse gone? I hate it when my mouse goes missing. There we go. So I run my fingers along the bottom here like that, and it just brings all the mutes, because pushing it up is mute on, pulling it down is mute off. All right. So I like stuff like that. I thought that the push button idea on the ALM one that we saw today was pretty cool as well. I like those. I don't mind the momentary things, but like you said, Andy, I kind of think it would be nice to have momentary and also permanent. So you should be able to go, you should be able to toggle something, but then you should also be able to leave it permanently off or on.
They really thought it through when they did that, because you play it like a keyboard. It's awesome. So
it's really good.
And Ranzee, the switches you have for the mutes, you could make a cyberpunk foot switch with those. I mean, you put a wire on them for a pedal, and one wire down in front of the table and the other wire in the back.
Yep.
Yeah.
The incredible machine. Is it Rube Goldberg machine?
A what?
A Rube Goldberg machine, I think is
Rube Goldberg. Yeah,
Rube Goldberg. Yeah,
I gotta look that up.
You can look that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a famous cartoonist that made these crazy drawings of contraptions. So.
Oh, we have a hat. We had a Dane called Storm P, who made things like that too. He also made lamps and other things.
There we go. Now, have we lost the chatties or something, or is it just my browser has paused? Has it? Oh yeah, my browser's paused.
We're still going.
Yeah, my browser's paused, so I'm going to have to catch it up somehow. It's miles behind where that is. I might have to. Actually, I've got another screen here. I might be able to use that. Where is it? There. Yep, cool. We're up to date. Nice. It's showing properly in there, but it just wasn't showing properly on my browser. So I haven't been able to keep up to what you guys have been saying in the chat. Yeah. Now, anyone else want to add to the? I know Brooksy, you've got a different setup for your mixes. You've talked about it before, but just while we're talking about mixes in Eurorack, your setup was the Tesseract system, right? So, what do you got there? Just remind us. And you're muted. Good man.
Take a drink again. That I was put on to that. The whole Tesseract stuff by Mac, who's in the chat. He said, "Have you thought about these?" I went, "I don't know anything about these," because that was when we first looked at the BX mixer. Well, quite a way back now, but And he said, "Have you thought about this one?" Well, and I looked at it and watched some videos on YouTube and thought, well, actually, that's probably going to work. It has, it's modular in itself. So my mix system has 3 modules, a bit like Andy's in his hex mix. It's no coincidence that it's called the Tex mix. Actually, I'm absolutely convinced about that. So the first, I've got basically a module which is 4 mono channels, a module which is 4 stereo channels, and the output module which you have to have, and they connect underneath with ribbon connectors underneath before you put them in your rack, and it has gain, it has 2 auxiliary sends, it has pan which is not CVable, and it has a volume knob at the bottom, and it has a switch which is at the bottom it's Q. So no, the bottom. Let me get this right. Oh, I forget. Anyway, one of the positions is sending it to the Q mix out, which will be straight to your headphones. One of them is mute, it's off, and then up is on. So it's actually the opposite way around to the way your one works. You said up is off and down is on. Oh, that would take a bit of readjusting. Blimey, in the middle of a gig. So, but I use them all. Thank you. I use them all the time for that, just building things up, bringing things in. And it's small. It can be a little bit fiddly, those little switches. And there is some bleed. It's not horrific. If it really isn't horrific. If it was horrific, I wouldn't be using it. But it is, again. It's relatively cheap. So I've got essentially 12 channels of mixing in a relatively small space in the bottom left-hand corner of this rack, and I think it's a really, really good system. If you can live with that little bit of bleed, then you'll probably be okay with it. It works really well.
I mean, depending on how bad your set is, you might get something thrown at you. You might have a bit of a bleed coming from your head. Yeah.
As if I hadn't bought the Hex Mix, I would have bought the WMD one, which is really nice as well.
Yeah.
That's
well, the WMD one is finished now, though, unfortunately, because that company's packed up.
Yeah, but they're still available out there. So.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so in terms of, you can see with Eurorack, it's kind of a weird sort of thing. Like, you want to choose your mixer. I think it's a real personal thing. But definitely, we always say use Modular Grid is always a good place to do your research, because it's a great little place. A lot of people don't realise Modular Grid exists. It's a free thing. You can just go check out your modules on there.
That's
you can even work
There's
out
hours in there.
You could make a pretend case and put all your stuff in there and work out how much it's going to cost you. So you can do stuff like that. Yeah, and have a little try while you're at it.
Do you guys think that
you got fantasy modules? So.
Do you guys think that the Euro module market is getting saturated?
Haha.
Because there's so. I mean, maybe this is a conversation for another week, but it's just there seems to be so many manufacturers, and as you just said, Ranz, that that company's gone. So are we in danger of seeing the situation where little companies
they come and go
create
all the time,
great
though.
modules? They come and do they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they do come and.
Yeah,
They're
look at
all
Modular Grid.
boutiques.
Tons of companies have gone. So.
And we talked about
It's just a thought.
the Strymon ones, because he died, and now they're fetching like a pretty penny. So it depends. You could. The other thing too is the Roland System 500 modules are starting to. I believe it won't be long before they stop making them, because it's a contract that Roland have got with Moleco Heavy Industries, and I don't know how many they've got sitting in the warehouse in Japan, but I'm under the impression that they're actually starting to dry up, and once those modules dry up, they'll go up in price as well, because they've made some pretty interesting things, like for example the SH5 filter module is amazing. The mixer that I mentioned before is pretty cool. So those sort of things happen even to big companies like Roland. So yeah, they've stopped making the IRA digital effects modules. They are now starting to go up in price. They're hard to find. I mean, there were quite a few sold, but they're not as popular as you may think. So yeah, I think I think it's kind of one of those part of the territories. You know, when you're buying Eurorack gear, be prepared to maybe learn a little bit about what you can do with the soldering on, or have a mate that knows how to use a soldering iron.
Yeah.
Because I think
also Roland mainly meant those to go with the System 1 rack, I think, because like they took the scatter out, so you had to add it with the module.
Yeah, which is the one I got, the scooper. Yeah. That's the reason why I got it, because I was going to buy a System 1M. I never did because I've got the System 1 there, and
It's a wonderful keyboard.
Worst keyboard in the world. Absolutely.
The keyboard's fine. The key bed is bad.
But not the keyboard.
Yeah, key bed. Yeah. Okay, so that was that other topic that was in. And by the way, there's plenty more just during the week in Discord. So there was some really, really interesting stuff that was put up in Discord. So do check it out. I'll give you that link again because I know there's a couple of people that have joined even whilst the show's been on, which is pretty cool. It doesn't benefit me at all if you join or you don't join. This is purely for you guys. It's not for me. I don't make money. It's not a commercial thing. None of this show is. So yeah, don't get paid from anyone. It's all completely done for love. Now, I wanted to do some sound design. I don't know how bad. Do we want to do this or not? I had some noise. We could probably give it a bit of a tail. And I believe if you go up an octave, it should get higher. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the right noise for what I need, because I want to make a whistle sound. And I want to do it with analog synthesis and subtractive synthesis, right? I want to do, I don't know, like a fluty whistle sound, right? So it's got to have a sort of sound to it. Sorry, microphone. It's got to have a bit of a white noise, maybe. Maybe I probably need a white noise sound. I don't know if I need to have this so that it pitches either. And that's the only reason why I chose the Sid Guts Deluxe, because this is one of the few noise that actually changes with volts per octave pitch, which is actually a pretty cool thing if you want to use it. But in this particular case, what we probably want to do is we probably want to have two envelopes. I'll move this across a little bit. We want to have two envelopes because we want to control the noise with a different envelope than what we want to control the filter. Now, I want to use a self-oscillating filter, and I can use this one or this one. It doesn't really matter which one I choose. Probably use this one because it's got the keyboard input, and I'm guessing that's what it's for. I haven't even tried that. Let's just try it for shits and giggles, eh? Haven't even tried it. Does this actually do it? So we turn everything down, no inputs, right? And we should get with some resonance, right? I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe I'm not doing it right. No, I don't know how to do this.
Turn that CV1 up. Oh, it is up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't know how to use this. Oh yeah, I need to use the keyboard control here. We don't want any of that. Oh, we do want CV1, don't we? I'm getting something. I'm getting very, very low volume though.
Oh, click. Yeah.
Maybe it needs.
Yeah.
It's definitely pitching. So it does need some sort of input into it. So maybe that's not what we need. It's not really behaving like a proper self-oscillating filter, is it? Oh, there we go. Oh, and we want to really, really pull the volume of this down, don't we? There we go. We've got it working now. People are screaming at me.
The dogs have started barking over here.
Do you want a football whistle? Or...
What I reckon we should do,
The wolf whistle.
I reckon we should take this one out because I'm not. Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
I'm not happy with that.
Get harassed by your synth.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Let's take that out, and we'll just put a standard noise module in. I've just got the static, which is it's got so many noise options. It's got white, pink, friggin'. There's so many colors of noise. Who would have thought, hey? Just entertain yourselves, gentlemen, while I'm doing this.
Just Robbie said a sheepdog has just come bolting through his door with some sheep.
I have never used this module before to keyboard control the filter, so please bear with me. It's definitely going to be trouble. I'm asking for trouble, I know it.
Get some goats on it too.
I may not even get this patch working. Yeah, but that second filter that's next to it is the famous multi-mode filter that this is really resonant, this filter. And I'm just trying to think, does that have keyboard control? I guess the QCV is the keyboard control on this, I think. I haven't tried it though, but I think the QCV is for the keyboard control. Anyway, we'll take Sid out. See you, Sid.
It's CV for the resonance. How much resonance you want on?
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have keyboard control?
You have to do that manually.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to do
The
it. I want to
CV
trigger
one,
that.
actually.
Yeah, I want to trigger it with CV. So this other one's the way to go. The way to go. Let's plug it in. Boys and girls, please make sure you turn off your modular systems when you're plugging in modules. You don't want to get any electric shocks. Ooh.
I blew a diode on one of my modules a couple of weeks ago doing exactly that.
Yeah.
You could also lose the power supply.
Yeah, treat it like SCSI. Don't hot swap it.
It's not like USB, is it? Okay. All right. Now. Okay, we need to probably. I've got gaps like you wouldn't believe here. Look at me, gaps, everyone. Gaps. Gaps everywhere. People with OCD. Fill the gaps up. Okay, so this noise doesn't have pitch control, it's just noise. And I don't think we need it. Like when you're thinking about a whistle or a flute, it doesn't, the breath sound isn't pitched, really, is it? I mean, it might be.
You don't have to fill the gaps for people with OCD as long as the gaps are equal.
Are they equal?
Yeah,
They're not. I think they're equal. What about this gap? This one here. Yeah, now I've got you. What are you going to do about that gap?
I'm getting disturbed by the different colours.
Yeah, look at the gaps. People.
That one new gap's really getting on my nerves, Ranz, actually. I just wonder, I'm sitting there going, why on earth didn't you just slide those modules across one slot? Maybe I am OCD. It really upsets me. I've got a one U gap in my rack and it really pisses me off.
There you go.
No, not,
There you go.
no, I've got two 1 U slots.
Oh, that's terrible. That's worse. That's
Oh,
worse.
There you
no,
go.
stop it. I'm going to freak out.
Just put some metal
I'm
tape
hide in
over
a
it.
darkened room for an hour.
Yeah. You got any gaffer tape?
Back in your room. You buggers.
Wasn't
Right.
there a band called the Gap Band?
Oh, yeah.
It was-
Clouds
it was,
across the
yeah.
bloody moon. No,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a cool track, actually. I really like it.
Why don't we don't need the
No,
oscillator.
that was the Ra band, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Okay.
There was
With
the
the
Gap
disco
band, but
out
the
of it.
Clouds,
Brooksy,
The Gap
would you-
Clouds
band.
across the moon was the Ra band. Oh, I'm getting all
Brooksy, would you
confused
say
now.
the gap
Tell us
put
in
you
the
in dire
chat.
straits?
Oh.
Stop it.
Oh, you're going to get in trouble now.
What's wrong with
Rant
dice
was
rays?
bad for someone.
I'll have to leave in a minute.
All right. Now, there we go. We got white noise, right?
Oh, snare drum.
Oh, Vienna.
And that's the VCA. That's the filter control there on the middle, and that's the input of voice 1, which is noise. Filter, VCA. So this is a VCA and a filter in one. This module, which makes it bloody handy, actually. Right, now, what we want to do next is we want to self-oscillate this friggin' thing. Oh, Jesus.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
So I just came back in there. We're having hearing tests.
I'm trying to work out how to get this thing
Better
to
one,
pitch
better
down.
two. Better one, better two.
Playing havoc with my tinnitus.
I've lost everything above 10k now.
Yeah, I know. Oh, he's getting it going. All right, now we need to bring a bit more noise in.
You keep going to get the Tomita whistle.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we want to do now, people? We want to get this somehow.
Add some modulation so you can make the football whistle. like the. Oh, I can't do it. Yeah.
It's not really pitching the way I'd want it to, though, right? You know what?
Use your pitch bender on your keyboard.
Yeah, I have, but I am going to say bugger using the resonant filter. It's a pain in the ass. I knew I'd do this. I'm just going to use the sine wave from the oscillator because why the hell not? So we'll do that. The oscillator's over here. And we still need noise. Running out of cables here, people. Okay, so we've got noise coming in 1, and we've got oscillator sine wave coming out of 2. Sine wave's the top one. So we should hear that if I bring that in. Why am I not hearing the oscillator? Because it's really
Play that
low.
quickly, get the Radiophonic Workshop machine gun generator.
Oh, here it comes, people. Here comes the oscillator.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Now we've got a beautiful sine wave. I've actually had a look at the oscilloscope with these sine waves. They actually are really nice. Right, now we can add the noise
It's
in.
almost a DX7 doorbell.
Okay, so
Oh,
we have a second VCA, envelope generator here, which I want to bring in. So what I want to do is I want to have this one needs to have a bit of attack on this one. You gonna let me do that or what? Come on. Okay, so CD one I thought was noise. Right, I probably need to have a second VCA to do this, I reckon, people. I think this has only got one VCA. It's got one VCA, but it's got 2 modulation sources in it. Sorry, that's the filter. But I actually need to have a second VCA. we're getting somewhere, aren't we? All right. Okay, people, what do you want me to do to make this sound a bit more like a breath? Less tail on that. I think it sounds pretty shit, to be honest.
I think you need a bit of
excellent
vibrato and a bit of breath
advert
control.
for Eurorack.
Yeah.
Ranzee to do.
And if you ever have any issues, just whack some reverb on it.
Yeah, you're really selling this to me, Ranzee.
No, I reckon I need another VCA. Give me another VCA, you bastards.
Run out of VCIs, bloody hell.
I haven't.
At least he's not using a $40,000 booklet to do this. So.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh yes, well,
Yeah. I do think I need another VCA because what I need to do is I need to have one of the sounds sort of have a short, stabby sort of noise that comes through, which is your breath. But I also need the whistle to sort of tail, right? So, and I can't do that with one VCA. So I probably didn't think this through, but I do have a double VCA sitting over here.
So I made a breathy thing the other day on my friend's radio show. I used the Zadar, and it had kind of a hill-shaped waveform where it peaks in the middle, and it ended up going. It was actually kind of funny. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. But
nice, good job.
Sound like a creepy guy breathing heavy in the background. So
I do have an LFO here.
Oh, that's just me, Andy. Sorry.
That I can put in.
Well, yeah, we always have that too.
That's Andy ringing you up. I'm just going to grab a dual VCA here. I'll be back in a second, people. Am I right in saying that? Do you reckon it's because I need a second VCA? What do you guys think?
More of everything, Ranz.
And when we get this sound, it's not going to be that impressive anyway. It's just trying to achieve something.
Well, that's just the way to sell
Bloody hell are you bothering for then?
What am I bothering for? That's brilliant.
This is why I always keep some reverb in units. If I'm having issues, I just go quick, whack some reverb on it, make me feel better.
Yeah, it sounds great. I think it sounds great with reverb.
Darren solves everything with his freezing of his reverb.
Yeah.
All right, we have an unfocused blur.
A blur.
There you go. Dual VCA. All right. Now, what we don't need is we don't need to keep. This is annoying. This microphone. I'm gonna have to go back to the other one. It's just it shits me.
You like the freedom.
I like the freedom. It's like when it's the difference between jocks and boxer shorts.
Just free balling, huh?
That's it.
I think that was way more information than I wanted to know.
Just don't talk about bat wings. You'll be all right.
Oh, Andy. Yes, we won't talk about bat wings. For bananas. Right. We are going to.
What on earth are bat wings other than the things that bats used to fly?
Well, do you want the details?
Probably not, actually, Andy.
Yes.
What you could do, Ranzee, is just cut away from everything and then just blow over a milk bottle. And we'll go, that's fantastic.
Listen to my Eurorack. What's that movie? The Slender Man or something, where they had to blow into a bottle on a bridge or something like that, and it made this demon guy turn up and.
Oh, Mothman Prophecies, is that one?
There we go. Henrik's got it.
Yeah.
It's a big hole.
Hey, we've got double VCAs happening.
That's true. That makes it easy.
People are going to come out and wonder what the hell's going on. We've got Andy there trying to call some owls. And...
Everyone's just cheating. And there's guys who've got like their...
Hang on a minute, we're doing it for real. What are you doing?
Well, there was a D50 patch called Bottle Blower, so, you know.
I'm thinking to myself, maybe I shouldn't have undertaken this idea. No, the one that comes to mind is do you know Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, right? And he has that synthesized whistle sound. It sounds amazing. It actually sounds like an old man, you know, doing that, like that sort of sound. But it's all done with a synth. All right.
Yeah, well, I did a track back in lockdown, didn't I, with just using Foley sounds, and I just rubbed my finger around a wine glass. That sounded quite...
Yeah.
Ooh, hits the mic again. Okay. Let's put that there for the OCD people. Right, what did we want?
Yeah.
We wanted one VCA. Because I can use this second VCA to mix... Right, that's because I've got two inputs on that, so that becomes like a mixer. See, people, mixers. VCAs are mixers. Now, where's the output? I can't see this thing. Output is there to there. All right, so that's one VCA going from there to there, and then we need to modulate that VCA. Not with that one. And we also need to bring the sound into it. I keep knocking the microphone. I'm really sorry. I'm actually not enjoying the microphone. And I'll just use one of the modulation inputs there. So that second LFO on the right, we don't even really need to see the oscillator. It's just going to make a sine wave. Second oscillator on the right, second envelope on the right, that VCA there. Okay. Now we need the output of... It's not going to make it. I need a longer cable. Output of that into the input of that. So now we should have sound. He says, I can see things lighting up. And the reason why I can't hear anything is because I've turned this modular system off over here. There we go. We'll have sound in a minute. There you go. There we go.
Oh, it's like Gulls on the Beach.
See the difference now? I can actually get a tail on that whistle. And then I can get a different timbre on the breath sound. So right, so what do we want to achieve now, people? We want to make the whistle sound longer. So I kind of feel like we need to mult that out.
You have to taper in that noise too.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We may need to do this.
That's an attack.
More attack.
Actually, less attack, but
Slower attack.
yeah, slower attack. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, I might have a little bit of a problem here where I'm gating something, right? And then when I'm summing the stupid microphone, I'm gating something, and when I'm summing these two up, it's only using the gate of that for the first envelope generator. So I need to make a choice about which envelope generator I want to gate. Yeah. Okay. So
Can I make a suggestion? Is that all right?
yeah.
Why not put the noise into one VCA, the the sine wave into the other VCA.
That's what I was
take
about to
one
do.
envelope Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Keep talking because I'm doing it, and you're going to say exactly what I was going to do.
So you got one into one channel. So the noise into one channel, the sine wave into the other channel, the envelope one into, and use the two envelopes to modulate them separately, and then into your VCF,
Then sum it. Yeah.
and then you might need to send a
I can just
out to
I can
modulate
just
the envelope.
I can just turn the
And it
input
may
gain
fill the
up on that.
gaps.
So you don't need to VCA.
Yeah.
I can just use it as a mixer.
Yeah.
So this has a sum. Don't worry about it. We won't do the sum. All right. So we'll do that to that to 2, and this is going to reach. Keep hitting the mic. The mic is literally right in front of my hands. It's annoying. That goes to 1. All right. So bring those 2 up. Bring that down. That down. That. All right, so that's all looking good there. They need to be up. We can muck around with the attenuation of those VCAs in a sec. So we should now get sound coming out of 1 and 2. Just need to work out how to get this thing louder. Yeah, I need to trigger this. Okay. Multis. I need multi-times. I'll just use a tip top to mult it. Oh, hang on, we still haven't done this yet. Microphone. Stop it. We haven't.
Sounds like a kick drum.
I was going to say, you need to gate that first channel. There you go.
All right, so that's firing both now. You can see that the VCA's different on both, but we also need to choose which one of these two is going to be our main VCA, and I'm probably going to say it's the synth noise, the sine wave will be our main one, and we're going to use that to trigger this VCA. There we go. Now we can play with the. I don't know why that's not releasing slowly. There we go. Now it's about mucking around with the filter, right? To get that sort of breath sound right. So it was a bit of rooting about to get that where we wanted it, but VCAs was our... Okay, so we probably find... Are you guys in agreement that the noise is a bit loud, right?
Yeah, you have to ramp into the noise.
Do you want to have a delay into the noise, or do you want to just sort of...
I think the noise
slower
should be the first. Yeah.
Because I can delay
Bit of high
that.
pass filter on that noise wouldn't go astray too.
Yeah, I know. But
well, I know you don't have that, so
I don't have a second filter yet. Well, I could.
I know.
But I do have different noises here, so maybe is it too high, that noise?
Try pink noise.
No.
Yeah, try. That's what I was
low.
going to say. Try pink. Yeah, so it's got too much bottom end, right?
You want the... I think Dope call it blue. No, they call it red noise.
There's red, there's purple, the blue. Blue's pretty harsh.
What we kind of want is we probably want to have that module there playing with the noise. We don't really need the filter on the whistle, do we? Right? When you think about it, we don't really need the filter on the whistle. We need it on the noise.
Yeah, I'd keep the filter off the sine wave. Just keep it as a pure sine wave.
So when you're thinking about it logically, you would probably put that module after this module in terms of signal path, right? But we can just change that with just the way we plug in. But yeah, we're kind of getting to the point where we're thinking, all right, the noise needs, instead of going straight into a VCA, the noise needs to go through the filter first, okay? And then come out of the VCA filter into this here, and then that can be summed. This has got a summing. I don't understand if that summing works the way I thought it worked, but that might sum the two VCAs. I'm not sure. One way to find out, I guess. Let's see. If I take that out and I turn that into a sum, let's see what happens. There you go. There's your answer. So that will sum the two VCAs, and that can be our output to the world from there, right? So let's make that our output to the world. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying. What I want to do is I want to put the noise into the filter first. So instead of it being a small cable, we'll go with a big cable. Noise to filter. That's a bloody big cable. Not that big. Alright. Purple cable time. White noise into filter. Okay, we've done that. Right, then we need the output of the filter to go back into the VCA. So that's the output here. That's going to go into the VCA. There. Right.
I put the noise into a bandpass filter.
Yeah, but I don't have the bandpass filter here.
You have gaps.
I'm not going to put another filter in. I just want to use a low pass because I reckon.
Have you got a modular grid now? Looking at HP modules just to buy.
Now we can use the filter. All right, and we can turn that whistle down a bit.
Are you trying to do more of a calliope or a whistle?
I want to get a little bit of a breath sound into it. And then... It's not quite the right breath sound, is it?
It depends if it's a breath after a tour in the city.
I know what's going on. I have to swap those two over. There we go. Right, now we can control the breath and the filter at the same time. I'm getting the desired results now because this envelope is controlling the filter and the VCA, and then the output of that is going into that VCA, and it's the same envelope controlling that VCA, right? So that won't make any difference. And then the sum of the sine wave without being filtered is going to the what you guys are hearing, right? So
can I make another suggestion?
Yep.
That I'd like that. Could you change the waveform from a sine wave to a triangle?
I can do that. Ready? Go on.
That'll just give a bit more for the filter to bite on when you...
Let's go a bit lower.
Now it's more like a Hohner melodica or something like that.
An organ sound, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, change it back if you prefer. So fine.
All right, what should we do with the noise? So you guys want more filtering on it? Right, so that's really loud.
Reminds me of a breath test I was taking a few weeks ago. but it ended with coughing. I don't think you can add that.
What's Andy's breath test like at the moment? It's not feeling so good.
Well, it depends what you mean by a breath test.
It was to test
by the
my
volume.
capacity of the lungs.
As in a peak flow test.
Oh, the one where. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember them.
No, my peak flow's rubbish right now.
Yeah, mine was better than I thought.
I still think that
My
noise
peak
needs.
flow's bad, even not just on the breath.
I still think the noise is a bit shit.
It's just, we give you a bit of a longer release.
It's too percussive. It should be a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a sampled flute.
It's a little bit of.
Yeah, it has some bending in the pitch.
And if you want it with growl,
Yeah, we probably don't want any sustain. That's probably what's killing us, is the sustain, right? We just want the decay to sort of just drop it out.
A little less release and lower the effect.
Okay, I've lowered the effect. More release, you reckon? Or less release?
No, not more or less. But I think it's okay. About okay now. It still rings, so that's too much release. If you whistle, you stop immediately.
More release on the flute, you mean?
No, it's, the opposite.
More release on
Tighter.
Less release
Yeah,
on.
tighter. Yeah.
You
Like
think
that.
about when the person blows a flute. When they stop blowing, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Alright, I reckon we're pretty close to it.
that's
What would
nice.
what would you guys say? Is that a success or is that a mild? I mean, you know. By the way, can I give you any advice? Never do this crap on live streaming. Ever. Trust me.
You were very.
Well, if you have
Ranzee
it on
may
there,
well
it
help,
helps.
thing.
mate.
So-
Pack some reverb on it
Right.
now,
Yeah.
and what a patch up.
It'll sound great. Yeah.
Bit of reverb,
But you
some
should
delays.
you should also think about how you do whistle. You do it by creating resonance.
That's going to be on my next
and
album.
Therefore, you should run everything through a bandpass filter, except for the breath. The breath should be another bandpass filter, perhaps. Not the same.
Actually, that
It's
patch
not
right there
exactly-
sounds like one of the Tangerine Dream 10-gram patches, so it's not bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just needs to evoke the sound of a flute, though, not necessarily emulate it.
Or panpipe.
Well, that's like draining
Yeah.
in reverb right
It's
now.
just getting better and better.
It fixes everything, Rand.
Frank Ellis
Everything.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right.
If I could make one suggestion, Rand,
Never leave the studio without putting
There
some
we go.
reverb on something, then at least you'll go away
Yeah.
feeling better.
when you're about to make a patch, just make a simple handwritten sketch what you're trying to achieve, just the elements, and every so often you just bring that back up again and show the people, and then everyone kind of has an idea of what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
I
I
think
I
kind
know
of.
it means it needs
kind of-
preparation. I know it's
I
kind
think
of
it's
had
more
an
fun
idea.
if you do that, but you hide the sketch till after you've done everything and see how much it differed from that.
See, for me, I kind of had an idea at the start, and I thought I'm going to use the keyboard control of the resonant filter to make the sine wave sound, you know, which is what most people would probably choose to make a sine wave. But then I thought to myself, it's much easier just to use a sine wave out of this because it's actually a really good sine wave. And then I worked out that I actually need 3 VCAs to do. I probably could have done it with 2, but when in reality, what we needed is we needed this filter to be controlled with a different envelope for the breath sound, because it needs so much shaping, that breath sound. And kind of still, I'm not that happy with it. I don't think it's the right. I think some of the white noise sounds you get out of these things, I might change it to this white noise, see if it makes any difference. Too much list on what? I don't know what you're saying. Do it again. Everyone can see now.
It was a note for Chris.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so there we're done with that. I don't want to bore you guys to tears with that. But sound design, come up with an idea. Yeah.
Don't do it live.
Don't do it live. Yeah, well done.
Chris is saying do a sharp
picture.
attack. Yeah.
On the noise. Whoop. I know. I know you know.
I can make that the sine wave come in a bit slower, more attack on it.
Now reverse it, Ranz. That could be good.
Doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it's pure analog. Anyway.
We're almost in Close Encounters territory there, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
I just think that other module would have been...
reverb is not analog.
I just think that would have been so much better to use.
So there you go, right?
That one.
So.
The resonant filter would have been so much better to use, but I don't think it does proper keyboard tracking on it. That does have a bandpass filter on it too, Henrik. There you go. There was a bandpass filter. I had it in my hand.
Yeah, but you used the other model.
I did.
I need to get a better camera follow.
Not the Nismo one.
You do. After all this, what Darren comes up with is I need to get a better camera.
Or a candle.
Anyway, what I wanted to do with you guys is set yourselves a challenge during the week. Like, find something that you haven't used for a while and see if you can come up with a sound out of that particular synth that's been created from scratch from you. Don't cheat. Don't grab a patch and slightly modify.
Well, I've been working on a patch called Silence on the UP6. It's evolving.
You're lacking.
Dr. Synth had for 5 months when they had his OP6. So
his voltage is lacking control on his OP6.
Yes.
So yeah, what some ideas are. We were talking about that kick drum before, that kick drum module. Maybe you could come. Yeah, you smoking or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you could come up with
Sorry,
a.
Darren.
Yeah. Brooksy's vape is going up into the window above. That's hilarious. We should. That'd be cool. Like, we could just pass each other modules. Like, I can go here, Darren. Just grab that.
I love that.
What was I saying? Yeah. So you could look at that kick drum we were looking at before with the two resonant sort of filters. You could make your own kick drum, right?
Yeah, you can have that. You can have that one, Ranzee. Go on, you can have that one.
Yeah. Or I don't know. Something distorted, make a guitar sound out of an analog synth, or I don't know. Whatever.
I just try to make a sound out of any synth, never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, from here, I'll play with this during the week. I'll play with this more. Like it's nowhere near where I want it to be. I'm probably going to go and listen to War of the Worlds and just painstakingly stop, rewind until I get the sound to I want to get it. And I'll probably find that, like Henrik said, I'll probably find I need a bandpass filter or something on that noise to get it sounding a bit better. Anyway, we are done.
A bit of a pitch envelope, just so it bends up.
A bit of
I could do that
after a delay.
Yeah.
Right, that's it now. We've all got to come up with our own breathy bottle patches for next week, haven't we? That's the gauntlet you're just throwing down at us, Ranzee. It wasn't come up with any old sound. You want us to do it now and see if we can come up with a breathy bottle patch.
No, don't come up with a breathy bottle patch because you'll make me look like shit. Because you guys will all nail it. All right, you have the beauty of not doing it live.
Dr. Synth, you guys might get a kick out of it.
What was that? Sorry. Was it about
a cool visual to show Dr. Synth? You guys might get a kick out of it. You ever seen one of these before? It's a
corkscrew
30s era tooth extractor.
Oh,
so you put this heavy metal handle, and you dig that sucker in, and you yank it out.
Fair enough.
My grandfather was a dentist, and this is one of his old.
Sounds like he was a sadist.
I used to get.
Well, it's almost like, is it safe?
Is that rusty? Is it rusty at the end there?
It's brass, so it's not too bad. But it's from the 30s. So
yeah, that's cool.
So
I was going to say it's cool, but actually,
when I was a young fellow and I had teeth coming out, I used to get this stuff, floss, right? Grab a bit of floss, wrap it around your teeth, and then pull the sucker, tie it to a door handle or whatever. You know, that's the way to do it. And my synthesized design, sound design, is like pulling teeth. Thank you very much, Andy.
Not true. We never said that, Ranzee. We were enjoying every minute of.
None too
You want to see the Dopey sample track demo real quick?
Yeah, go for it. We want to see all the things.
It's gonna go over as well as about the sound design today. We'll see. Hopefully, it's a little better, but I don't know. We'll see. Give me a second here. I'll boot it up. You guys haven't seen the boot up. There's the boot screen.
It is so small.
It is. So let me adjust the volume here.
What worries me is that screen is going to do, like, I have a problem with small screens.
Yeah, that's my problem.
I have no problem with them, only if I have to read them.
So I just did a couple quick and dirty. I mean, I literally watched the Cuckoo video for about 5 minutes, and I spent another like 10 minutes making this. So it's not anything great, but you'll get an idea. You can add some tracks here. So. Pardon me. Some foodie stuff for you. There you go. Real basic stuff.
That was a nice breathy, fluty sound you got.
Yeah, I was playing.
Yeah, it's just the free sample pack they have in there. I didn't even load any samples on it yet. Just the free drum kits.
That's superb. That sounds great.
I did want the reverb. I found the send. The effects are kind of buried on it, so I quickly added the send to the flute. But the rest of it's pretty dry.
From what I've heard, I haven't got one yet, so I can't really tell this from my own personal experience. But from what I've been told, is the actual sound quality of it is actually really good. And what you heard from Andy's is going through this really compressed video call and coming out the other end, and it actually didn't sound too bad. But believe me, it'll sound a lot clearer in real life.
Drum sounded
great.
It
wasn't even quantized, so if I spent more time on it, it'd be better. So.
Yeah.
I did cheat though. The little Synthy repeating part, I couldn't find the arpeggio on here if it even has one, so I had to use my KeyStep Pro to add the MIDI in with the arpeggiator.
I don't think it's got arpeggiator on it. I think
it does.
It's
so
been a feature request, and they said that they're thinking about it.
At least note repeat or something. They should do something like that.
Yeah. By the way, if you actually if you want to do something tonight, you guys can stay up and watch Australia play Argentina in the World Cup.
Why?
How's that? I bet
yes,
nobody picked that one.
Well,
I bet you nobody picked that. I bet you all the bookies would be like, geez, I wonder who would bet on Australia. I think Australia were pretty much guaranteed to disappear from the first round, but they didn't. They kept going. And commiserations to Henrik's country, because his country has a top 10 football team, and yeah. But then again, it's not the only one that's bowed out. Germany bowed out as well.
Gone.
Mm-hmm. So, and a few others as well. A few other interesting, results. Who knows? Yeah, we might beat Argentina. It's all possible.
And to warm up, we can listen to Andy's new album, Darren.
Yep.
Or mine.
Henrik's, Henrik's new album.
Plugs away.
Yeah, you've got 3 albums there.
You got 3 albums. Let's check them all out just quickly. We've got JX. Oh, jeez, I've lost the browser thing. JX3D.bandcamp.com. We'll do that one first, and we'll hit this button. So there's the new album there, Electro Mare.
And you can play it. You may receive a claim, but the claim also says that I allow.
We played it the other day anyway. So, yeah, we played it the other day. We also had Brooksy's. Where is it? What are you called on here, Brooksy? Is it Andy?
It's Andy and Grace. Andy and Grace.bandcamp.
Is Andy and Grace. There we go. So you guys can check out Andy and Grace. And that's
volume 2. Yeah.
Hardware Collections volume 2. I'm going to hit a little bit of play on that.
Even though fire has been around for as long as there's been it around, it's always been hard to control. Of course, we can easily start a fire. And often...
So send them some love by buying that as well. And I did show it before, and so Darren's is in here as well. Darren's The Spirit Guide. That's the new one that's out. I'll just do a quick play on that. Probably be able to play yours, Darren, because you don't list yours in distro, do you?
No, I don't. So you'll be fine on mine. You can.
Yeah.
No, we don't either.
So that's really cool. I've been listening to that, by the way. I was doing during the week. I was doing some programming, and I had that playing in the background. I had Hendrix playing in the background, and it's just looping, and before you know it, your whole day has disappeared. It's awesome.
You should be able to, it's a shame that DistroKid are stealing the revenue from YouTube, because you should be able to ask them to not include it.
No, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go into the back end of DistroKid, and you add. There's some warnings when you add YouTube in as a distribution source, and then you can I think it's whitelisting or blacklisting, or it's whitelisting. Yeah, whitelisting, and you can go in and do that. So
I know the other way is to tell YouTube themselves that all of the music, because that's the way I did it. So I use a company called Emu Bands to put my stuff out on Apple and Spotify and all that. So you can play any of my stuff and not get a hit, because YouTube was told that it's okay.
Yeah. So one of the other ways to do it, and I don't know if you know this, Ian, is if you actually do have a YouTube channel and you're an artist. See how it's got the little note symbol next to mine there? The little music note there. If you become an artist page on YouTube, it'll let you play your own music on your artist page as well, which is handy. So I can put as much of my own music up as I want, and it doesn't worry me. Yeah.
But you need a certain amount of subscribers to become an artist.
You do, yeah.
But my channel is not an artist channel, but despite that,
No, mine isn't.
I can play my own music, and you can play my music, but that's because I allow it already from your chat. So, is it pronounced orchard? I can't find out. I always called it orchard.
Oh, 1 second. Sorry,
Not sure.
It's
Spell it for us.
ORCHRD.
Orchard.
Orchard.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Orchard is a publisher, aren't they?
Yeah.
Orchard Music.
It's
Yeah.
like DistroKid. Yeah.
So I think they're are they part owned by DistroKid or the other way around?
I think it's the same.
They're the publishing
group of
arm.
companies or something.
Yeah, they're the publishing arm. Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention. Did I tell you? I think I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that I sent some CDs off to get made at CD Baby in the US. I think they're in the US. Anyway, so they should be here next week as well. So anyone who this is the Significant Bit album CD that I released last year or late last year. So I'll have some of those to send off to various people, which will be good. And what was I going to say about the other thing? Don't forget also next week the sample track stuff. If I can organise to get Robbie and Chris Dodsworth to come on, we'll get them. They can join us on via StreamYard. We can get those guys to come on via that. We can do a sample track, compare notes. Andy, you're obviously more than welcome to join in on that as well because you're a sample track owner, and also you, Brooksy, too, if you get yours in time.
Hopefully it'll arrive.
Yeah.
Quick tip on the sample track when you get it: if you have the little pouch that comes with your headsets for work and stuff, perfect size. It just barely stretches over the thing and protects it if you take it out in the field. So free case.
I've got one of those actually lying about.
Yeah.
Let's go. Great idea.
Cool.
There was a lot of people that bought that sample track. So there was over 1,000. I don't know what the total number was because I don't know. Someone.
I feel like I missed out there.
Possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't log into Kickstarter on this browser. Someone will tell us. Kickstarter. Lost my mouse again. It goes off onto another screen, which is really, really annoying. Here we go. Kickstarter.com. I'm just going to check it out. It was quite a lot of people that backed it. And so, I mean, technically, it's a really, really successful Kickstarter campaign. Does it tell me? Campaign. Yeah, here we go. Click on that. 1,604 backers pledged 61 million yen. Someone want to do the conversion?
Calculate that.
I'll paste
Come on, go. How much is 61 million yen?
Oh, I'll paste it in now. It'll tell me. 668,000 Australian dollars. So you're looking at 350,000 pounds. They've made
successful.
That's pretty successful.
Mm.
So that'd be close to $500,000 US. Close to $500,000 US. They've made 1,600 backers. So that's a lot of sample tracks out there. I don't know if they were all sample tracks. That number. But yeah, I can't remember.
They sold a lot of 8-bit warps as well. That was a very successful one.
Yeah. So they're doing well. Yeah. The other thing that I backed the other day was the Halo project. It's finished now. I think they just closed it off. So that's the little light up CV patch cables that you got through My Vaults. And it was like a collaboration with Andrew Huang as well. So I put some dollars into that because I thought that was interesting. They're a pretty cool company, My Vaults. They do some pretty cool stuff.
I'm back in 2 minutes.
We're going to finish up anyway. So
I got some light up cables on special at Perfect Circuit for Black Friday.
I'll cross my legs then.
We're going to finish up.
Yeah. I just had to go around.
Hold the bladder.
We'll just make him stay here for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's not going now for another 15.
No, I've got to finish up because I've got to do some stuff tomorrow morning, and I've got to get up early. Anyway, so that's been a good show. 3 hours and 20 minutes worth of streaming. Thanks, guys, for being on, and all the people in StreamYard also that joined us, Chris and Henrik, who managed to squeeze themselves into the show. Still awesome to have you guys. Very much appreciated coming on. You're more than welcome to come on anytime you like. The StreamYard thing is free for anyone to join. Don't forget to support all of these people. Ian's got his podcast to support. Ian, just give it a quick plug.
Audiophile Radio Show. It's on all podcast companies. Apart from, you'll find it on YouTube probably by the middle of the month. But
is it on Spotify?
It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's on iTunes, and it's actually hosted by a company called Podbean. So you can go and just go and look at it, try it in a web browser if you didn't want to, download, or you don't have a regular.
And when's that out?
Podcast. It's out now. Came out on the 1st.
Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. And everyone else, Brooksies, Andy and Grace. What about you, Andy? What do you got? You got your YouTube channel, which there's a link in the description below. So check out Andy's YouTube channel.
I should start putting some Bandcamp stuff out one of these days. Pay for some modules and shit. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but just usual hardware jam stuff, and whenever the next EMOM or VMOM comes up or whatever, and maybe some more microscope shows coming up. We'll see. So.
Do you remember what backer number you were, Andy?
It was pretty good. It was like 120 or something like that.
Oh, so you're pretty early.
Forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really. I almost got it the first day. I said, I'm not sure. Let me read about it a little bit more. And then I said, okay, I'll get it. So
yeah. And I was a week or so later. So I'll be further down the list, which is why I think mine's en route. So.
I was 850 something. I can't remember what it was.
I can't cross them anymore. So see you next one.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Henrik.
See you, Henrik. Take care, man. Bye.
Bye,
all right, we're going to say goodbye anyway. Thanks to all the chatties. Been awesome to have you guys, and we'll see you all next week. Hopefully with some sample tracks, and we can have a play with those. So yeah, awesome. Everyone, say goodbye. I'm going to hit this.
Bye bye.
Bye, folks.
Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.